Okay, what's up? Please cover the Sykkuno doc. Oh my god. Do you think we're ever going to go back to talking besides anything besides Israel? Politico is reporting that 2 Democratic potential presidential candidates intervened to make sure the DNC resolution condemning dark money groups like AIPAC was defeated. Kamala Harris, did you reach out to the DNC to oppose the resolution? My god. We've got Lycan being a retard on the timeline. Was happy to get the commitment tonight that none of the money raised will go to anti-Ukraine candidates. And anyone opposing giving Ukraine the means to survive. This should be the standard. Those running for office must state clearly they won't join Trump in abandoning Ukraine. But Dylan, what if an anti-Ukraine Democrat gets the nomination? Will you still vote blue? Jesus. Looks like you're looking to pick up fights with libs today. First, I saw you baiting Stacy, then you went after Wick and Hutch. Now you want to mess around with Dylan. Bro, are you okay? The only people that the tankies will fight are the libs. Someday. Or maybe they won't. I don't know, actually. If Dems are too retarded to realize it, the party deserves to die, I think. I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it now. Fuck it. Are they in there disaffected? Oh, I saw this one. I've known of Destiny for 15 years. Used to make fun of his penis back when SRS was a thing. Nice. Based. Okay.
My girlfriend of 4 years has recently become obsessed with a male streamer, and I feel really...
Once again, Bill Maher is like actually trafficking in right-wing ideals or right-wing ideology, reactionary ideology, and saying a bunch of heinous shit, which is precisely the reason
Bill Maher?
why Elisa Slotkin doesn't have an issue with anything that he's saying, because it's about where you want to expand the tent to. That much is clear. A lot of these people want to expand the tent to the right. It's very funny, but a lot of people are dunking on her for this because she was like, we got to be alpha. We got to take on these fights, all this stuff. And now she's like, I don't want to go on a show because he called me stupid.
If we're down there.
Keep me posted. I've been like, well, this is a little dark. I don't mean to end on a dark thing, but like after the Charlie thing, like I was like really affected by Charlie getting shot. And like a couple months later, I was like, I want to do the inverse, like not like in his honor, but like I think it would be cool because you don't have that. There's not really an example of like a lib going to Ole Miss and letting Ole Miss kids yell at him in the way that Charlie did on lib campuses. And I feel like that would be fun, but I don't exactly know how to execute it. And so I don't know. I'll take thoughts on you from that. Also, we can overlap that with one of the games.
I'm going to think through on that one. That could be very funny.
That could be funny.
All right, well, I'll pull up on you. Thank you for joining us, Tim. You can find him at the Bulwark.
Guys.
Check him out online. He's everywhere.
Actually said that there was a double standard. I talked with Hassan Piker this week, and he essentially said that there was a double standard on you going on Bill Maher's show versus his Twitch stream. Do you want to respond to that?
Well, first of all, I've never been invited on his stuff, and I've gone on Bill Maher a bunch of times. Look, I have said repeatedly, like, I gotta call balls and strikes, whether it's anti-Semitism, Islamophobia, coming from the state that I come from. And so that's what I've tried to do as he's come into Michigan. And, I think there are a ton of podcasts or, invites that I've not taken. And every politician has to make their choice. They have to make a decision about what they're going to go on. So I've been on Bill Maher. I think this is my 4th.
Is he talking about Maher's recent Islamic cultures rant? How is it right-wing to talk smack about Islamic societies, which are the rightest-wing societies on Earth right now? Well, for Hassan, remember, right-wing and left-wing are just, that's like the aesthetic, right? He's just illiberal. So he'll adopt the progressive banner when it's convenient.
They have to make a decision about what they're going to go on. So I've been on Bill Maher. I think this is my 4th time. That's just how I feel, given some of the things that were said.
And which strikes does Hassan hit? What are his strikes?
Strikes?
Which strike? You said balls and strikes.
Oh.
What are his strikes?
I think for me, some derogatory things he said about Orthodox Jews, saying that we deserve 9/11. Like, there's some things in there. Not to mention, he calls me stupid like every other week. So what normal human being would choose to go on a show when someone calls you stupid every 10 days. So I just, it's not going to be something I do.
Wow. Not very nice, Hassan. What the fuck? The reason people like clarity on this is because Shapiro embellished it in the first place, not because Kyle didn't do enough research. What was Kyle Kalinske tweeting that Shapiro was in the IDF or whatever? God, the Jew shit is so boring. Oh my God, kill me. Oh God, kill me. Love you, Hutch, but Shapiro did say he volunteered in the Israeli army. All else to the side, is it false to say that he was in the IDF? When I think you have to realize when Pisco has either dug himself into an indefensible position or when he's being like toxically autistic. Anytime you see him or anybody doing shit, you should just link them. Fuck. I thought there was a Slate Star Codex post about this. Or maybe he just posted it here. I talked about this before, that you're just trying to summon all of the moral weight of a particular word, but you're still like missing the central point. Apparently, Shapiro volunteered to do some work with the, what was this? During high school, Shapiro spent 5 months studying volunteering in Israel with his classmates as part of a service project requirement, which they completed through a program that took them to a kibbutz in Israel, where he worked on a farm and at a fishery. The program also included service on an Israel Defense Forces base, an experience he described as being a past volunteer in the Israeli army. According to a spokesperson in 2024, people like Pisco and all these other weirdos want to say like he was in the IDF because what they're trying to make you think is he was murdering Palestinians. That's like the goal. He was in the IDF. He was raping and murdering Palestinian women. Like that's what they're... that's the normative weight that they're trying to summon. I'm asking in virtue of what is a volunteer in the Israeli army, not in the Israeli army. Are they definitionally in the IDF? Like, oftentimes when Pisco's throwing around the word definitionally, you know he's either being bad faith or not worth engaging with. It's so fucking retarded. Oh my God. Mark Kelly will be on their stream at 3:45 in 20 minutes. Oh, that's nice. Hopefully.
Telling people the problem is teens and young adults. From ages 15 to 19, the fertility rate is down 7%, and it's down 70% over the last 2 decades, meaning we're telling people that are young not to have babies. The problem is teens and young.
Okay, why would you do that age grouping? Huh. 15 to 19? That's an interesting bracket of ages. I don't think it's Fox doing that. Oh, sorry. I saw the Fox News thing and assumed it was Fox News. My bad. What is this?
Dude, I don't know. I don't know what it is, man. I don't know why people. I will never understand why when someone fucking hates me, they don't just like hate me this much. Okay? They don't just like give up and move on to other shit.
Notice that no real people in the media say this. This is not like a real thing. Like, why is this guy talking about my political takes? He must be obsessed with me. Like, you're a political commentator, bro. Like, what do you expect people to do? You're out there giving political commentary and acting like a fucking retard at the exact same time. I mean, of course, people are going to comment on it. Why are you so obsessed with me? Just stop talking about my takes. Can I please just give my political takes without anybody talking about them, please? Oh, my God.
They go crazy for the rest of their lives. Like, it dramatically alters their trajectory, where every waking moment is another opportunity to just be like, oh, I can get one off on them. Because you respond. No, even when I don't respond. I mean, I didn't respond for fucking months, right? Like, you can't say that about most of my fucking haters, right?
This guy brings up the perceived hate complex against him constantly. He's obsessed. He and his wife need interventions at this point. Oh, his ex-podcast co-host? Okay.
It's just confirmation bias. No, but it's... There are plenty of people that I never talk about, which I'm not going to bring up right now, but actually the overwhelming majority of my psychosexual relationship, that like one-sided psychosexual relationship that like a lot of my stalker ass haters have, are never reciprocated with a response. Like, there's nothing there at all, and they still do it, and I just don't understand it. I don't know why. I mean, hate is a strong word, but there are some I would use it for, right? I hate the morally repugnant worldview of many Republicans, many reactionaries, right? And I don't think about them at all. Like, there's never a moment where I'm thinking about Ben Shapiro.
Really?
Right?
Because Ben Shapiro doesn't talk about you.
In my mind, I'm never like, oh, God, I hate Ben Shapiro. In my mind, I hate Randy Fine. I don't talk about Randy Fine all that much. I don't think about Randy Fine all that much, right? There are a lot of like repulsive, racist, white nationalists, white supremacists, neo-Nazi, ultra-Zionists. There's varying degrees of hatred that I have. I don't know. I feel like there's no way to live life. Wow. I'd much rather have them hate you if they didn't hate immigrants instead of. Yeah, but that's not how that works. The reason why they hate me is because they hate immigrants, and I'm constantly defending immigrants. The reason why they hate me is because they hate, black people, brown people, Jewish people. I defend all of these people, so they hate me as a vector. It's a multifaceted approach. It's not a surprise that there are so many different ideologies out there. Where people will just like find one thing to fucking despise and hold on to it and cherish it and let it manifest, let it fester in their souls.
Okay. All right, fuck it. We'll do viewer call-ins after this. We'll watch it.
My girlfriend of 4 years has recently become obsessed with a male streamer and I feel really uncomfortable about it. This was a post made on the subreddit r/relationship advice around the end of 2020. What was particularly shocking here is that barely just a few days after making that initial post, he'd end up breaking up with his girlfriend. Her obsession with that streamer was that irrational. And during that time, she wasn't the only one who might have felt this way. That's because the male streamer in question here was none other than Sykkuno, a name and face that had become a core memory of the COVID-19 pandemic, more specifically when everyone was locked up in their homes. In the span of less than a year, he would go from having 1,000 average viewers on Twitch to 50,000, even having a stream where he peaked at over 100,000 concurrent viewers.
Wow.
What he'd be most known for was his gameplay of Among Us with his friends, who happened to be very big content creators as well. Not only would he get tens of thousands of concurrent viewers on Twitch, but he would get millions upon millions of views on his YouTube channel as well. And while his rise to fame is definitely incredibly impressive, what was truly unparalleled here is his extremely high ratio of female viewers, confirmed to having been higher than any of his other content creator friends. His handsome look, his anime-sounding voice, and his witty jokes made women go rabid. In fact, there was also a joke that he would turn male fans gay. But what made him really desirable is just how socially awkward he was. He was innocent in an endearing way. He was a boy failure that needed a woman to fix him. In a nutshell, he was this picture, almost allergic to other women. He just couldn't handle anything romantic. He would get too flustered. This made many of his fans want to be the one to finally fix him. But make no mistake here. This was all a perfectly crafted image that he had made for himself. He wanted you to think that
I was a day one Sykkuno hater. I called this out from day one. Fuck all you motherfuckers.
he was innocent, naive, a boy failure, someone who's inexperienced in relationships and would never hurt a fly. Because in reality, behind this mirage, this illusion, there was a master manipulator, a serial cheater, and a predator. Someone who would make it a point for many years to target smaller content creators, take full advantage of the fact that he was one of the most desirable men in the streaming world, all while making it seem like he had no experience with women and that it just might be romantic. They just might be that special someone who can fix him. What he would somehow forget to tell them, though, is that he had been in a monogamous relationship since 2021. But you don't have to take my word for it, because he admits to everything in a recorded voice call with the victim herself. And on top of that, that same victim, who goes by the name of Hemamal VT, would choose to write a Google Doc that shows the entire timeline, her and Sykkuno's DMs together, as
Oh, fuck. Somebody might. In light of recent events.
That Sykkuno dude is like the new like cringy fucking guy that everybody's obsessed with too.
yeah.
Oh god.
Dude, he's no. Like
I know it's real, dude. It's so real. It's real. I know, dude. I know. Yeah, I know. It's real.
Everything you see is
If it's real, it's even worse. It's even more cringy. God, that somebody would like model themselves out. Like I thought I was sad for having anime role models growing up. Holy shit! To unironically like model your whole personality because you're incapable of thinking up anything on your own after shitty fucking slice of life anime characters. How fucking cringe do you have to be? Oh my god! I can't imagine how many tears that person must shed at night as they sit there staring.
Shut up, Jesus
Here
Christ.
to like shy people and like it's like liking kids.
Meltdown.
Yeah, true.
Also very true. Very true. Wait, who else is in this call? Is this Austin?
That person must shed at night as they sit there staring at all of anime that's ever been produced in the history of mankind. Oh my god.
You're a cranky old man. You need to go to bed.
Well, it's kind of weird to like shy people and like it's.
Oh, Molina got raked over the coals for this take. This take was 1 trillion% true, though. Oh my god. Anytime somebody tells you, I really like shy people. Pedophile. Every time. At 100% predictive correctness, okay? Every time.
Like
I'm pretty sure she got hate threats for this comment.
liking kids.
Damn.
Absolutely true. Hold on, wait 1 second.
as well as the DMs of another victim that actually slept with Sykkuno while being totally oblivious to the fact that he has been in a relationship since 2021. This might be one of the most...
Wait, okay. Let me do my dailies real quick, and then we'll finish this. Hold on. Okay, hold on. I need a... What? Wait, when does this one reset? When does this one reset? Did it reset? I can't tell. How do I know if I've done the one already? How do you know I've done it already? You're just assuming, I think, because you saw me do it. Because I'm pretty sure if I wait 5 hours, I'm going to come back and it's going to say April 12th, and then it'll say next daily in 23 hours. Fuck. Okay, I'll do this later. Oh, wait, no, like these... God damn it. Okay, never mind.
Most impactful and longest running lies in content creation history. I want to thank the two victims in
One of the longest running lies in content creation history. That's this guy. Ah. Can I just say... trying to think of how anti-woman I want to be today. It's just very funny that, like... I just think it's funny. We'll get through this. Never mind.
Most impactful and longest running lies in content creation history. I want to thank the two victims in question for trusting me with this very heavy topic and for allowing me to make the first comprehensive video on it. So without further
The people, the woman who released the doc on Sykkuno, the big one or whatever, collaborated with this guy to have this video come out at the same time, which is funny.
ado, let's get right into this mess. Alright, so first off, who the hell is Sykkuno? Well, before starting his streaming career, he actually used to be a software engineer working in the Bay Area of California. His monotonous office life would change forever though when he would meet Lily Pichu, a well-known content creator who actually started making content as far back as 2012. However, when they met, she was far from being the very well-known content creator that we know today. It was back during the Season 3 World...
So, look past... You have to interrogate your beliefs, okay, more. You gotta interrogate your beliefs more, okay? Somebody said, women be like, nothing beats a woman's intuition, and then they fall for the most obvious fake personality of all time. It's... So the women know. The women know what's happening. The problem is that all of this can be explained in 20 seconds of the video between that one girl and Sykkuno. It can all be explained in 20 seconds. And it's the idea that if they don't get what they want in the end, then they can flip it onto the guy who's being an abuser. One of the huge paradigm shifts that needs to happen in that, you can read it in the very beginning of this girl's thing. Here's a huge paradigm shift that needs to happen. It'll never happen. I've given up on society. I don't give a fuck about anything. Okay? But this is what needs to happen. But it won't happen, okay? When a woman says to you, there's this guy, and I really like him, but the thing is, he'll only hang out with me when I guarantee him sex. Every single time that story is presented in left spaces, it's seen as the guy manipulating the woman, but that is 100% a two-way street. But if you would even imply the opposite, people lose their mind. Because you could very easily flip that to... there's this girl, and I don't know how I feel about her. I don't think I would date her or whatever, but she keeps saying she wants to fuck me every single time she has to hang out. So, like, fuck. Like, you're manipulating him just as much as he's manipulating you. The only difference, though, is that if things don't work out in the end, for the girl, she can write a giant doc on the dude to try to get him destroyed because he didn't date her in the end. It's just so fucking stupid. It's so stupid.
Championship for League of Legends during the year of 2013.
Fuck me. I don't care. I will say it. I like I like whores and hoes. I am a whore and a hoe, okay? I like it. It's fine. I have no problem with people sleeping around or doing any of that, okay? I think that's great. However, I think that the journey in life you need to make is starting off way too conservative and coming back to like a healthy engagement with your sexuality. And it can't be starting as a brain dead liberal who attaches absolutely nothing to sexual encounters, because those people are ticking time bombs and they're dangerous. They will destroy the world around them with their absolute childlike, retarded approach to sexual relationships in the world. Yeah.
So barely a year into her content creator journey, Sykkuno would be aware of her content. He'd reach out to her and would want to meet her, seeing that they're both at the same place. Lily Pichu agreed, thinking, oh, am I about to meet a fan? That's awesome. She'd be absolutely shocked when that fan would show up with a massive bouquet of flowers.
Like, if you if you look at the girls that are fucking messaging this guy. I'm sorry. I looked at the girl's Twitter account who wrote this thing on Sykkuno, and I almost busted a nut in 2 pages. That's how fucking hot this girl was, okay? And I'm like, you're posting all this shit on your Twitter account. You're DMing a, like, 5-figure concurrent viewer streamer. He's getting sexual with you in 12 hours. What the fuck do you think? Do you think you're the first person to message this guy? You think you're the only girl? And then also, like, when this is the image that you're putting out, like, what do you think he's... I mean, you're like, flaunting your entire sexuality at him, and then you're surprised when that's, like, the thing he latches onto. It's just, like, so... Oh, God, it's so stupid. Okay.
Awesome. She'd be absolutely shocked when that fan would show up with a massive bouquet of flowers. As she was about to thank him, he would run away back to his cousins. According to him, these were his only friends at the time. He was that lonely. He was simply too embarrassed to interact with her further. This interaction left a good impression on Lily Pichu, and they kept in touch for years to come. In fact, as she would start her streaming journey, she'd play with her friends, and one of those friends would be Sykkuno. Her viewers would start to express interest in him, especially seeing that his voice sounded like an anime character. There was genuine demand in her community to know what he looked like. What they didn't know, though, was that Lily Pichu had already shown him. He was there with her when she went to Summoners Con 2015, and he was right there with her in her vlog. But most of her community were simply not aware of this. So seeing that there was growing demand to see what he looked like, they decided to do a face reveal live on Lily Pichu's stream around the year of 2019.
Yeah. You're such a... Oh, okay, here we go. Wait, you're actually so much braver than I thought.
Only because you're here.
Alright, I'm ending stream.
Get up.
And as you can see, the chat was definitely not disappointed. In fact, Lily Pichu had such an impact on Sykkuno that she would be, well, the main reason why he would start streaming. And you can hear him say that himself.
So what convinced you to start streaming?
Lily, actually.
And speaking of streaming, he would start doing so shortly after revealing his face on Lily Pichu's stream. He'd start in the beginning of 2019 with barely under 100 viewers, but as the months would go by, he would start to get very rapid growth.
Way too much of an anime voice. You guys, oh man, I keep forgetting that I picked up fans that are only politics fans. Bro, I really was a day one hater of this guy, but not because of the whatever dumb shit this is, but just because the whole anime voice act or whatever. Oh my God, that drove me crazy. I hated it so much. Fuck me.
He would really start putting in serious hours by August 2019, and within just 1 year, by August 2020, he'd be sitting at 8,000 average viewers, reaching a peak of 15,000. But how? Why? Well, during his streams, he would continue playing with Lily Pichu. And seeing that Lily Pichu has a lot of big content creators that she calls friends, she would introduce them to Sykkuno. It turned out that this guy was very easy to talk to. He was witty, he made jokes, and the communities of the many streamers actually enjoyed his company. All of these factors combined would be the perfect catalyst for when the quarantine season of COVID-19 would arrive. He would start to play the game Among Us with some of the biggest content creators on the planet, and within just 4 months, he would go from 8,000 average viewers all the way up to 50,000 average viewers, peaking at 100,000 viewers in one stream. He was gaining 500,000 followers every single month. In just the span of like a year and a half, he had gone from being a mid-tier streamer to one of the biggest on the entire platform. It wasn't just Twitch though. He would be getting millions upon millions of views on his
Millions.
YouTube videos as well. He was killing it on
Millions.
every single platform he was on. And so by 2022, when YouTube was aggressively recruiting Twitch streamers to stream on their platforms instead, offering them multi-million-dollar deals, they targeted Sykkuno, seeing that he's extremely brand friendly, has a very loyal audience, and had become a household name in such a short time. So on May 2nd, 2022, he would announce to the world that he was moving to YouTube on a 2-year exclusive contract. And as you can tell by the engagement, this post went viral. What I really want you to understand though is just how valuable he was seen by companies and platforms. Back when YouTube was aggressively recruiting talents that were on Twitch and their confidence and hubris, seeing that they completely dominated the streaming scene at the time, would never bother offering a counteroffer. On the very rare occasion that they did, it was a very big deal, and guess what? They made an exception to Sykkuno. They gave him a counteroffer higher than YouTube. Sykkuno would go back to YouTube and show them Twitch's new offer, and YouTube would offer to pay even more.
Wow.
His contract alone is estimated to be around $5 million. Sykkuno, though, also had interests in other communities, such as
Kill me. Ah!
VTubers. In 2023,
why do people act like cheating is rape or something? This response seems out of whack with the crime. Because every single thing on the internet has to be the worst thing ever. It all has to be the worst thing ever. There are no more murders, there are war crimes, there aren't even war crimes, they're genocides. There is no more cheating. It's gaslighting and love bombing. It's not even gaslighting and love bombing, it's actually rape. Because when you're cheating, you're having sex with somebody else, which means that you're non-consensually exposing your partner to an STD, which means they wouldn't have consented to having sex with you, which means it's non-consensual sex, which means it's rape. Like, everything is like the most of everything these days. It's so fucking retarded. Everything is. That guy who fucked a 17-year-old when he was 19, pedophile. That guy who, it's just like everything is the most extreme of everything. It's so stupid. Oh my God.
For an April Fool's joke, he would debut his first VTuber model, extending his reach to a new niche community. The reason why I'm mentioning this is because at some point he was invited to a call with the Senator Bernie Sanders alongside Valkyrae and Pokimane.
Bernie!
And instead of showing his face, he chose to be a VTuber. This was so ridiculous and it went so viral that he inadvertently kind of became a spokesperson for VTubing in one stream. I mean, God, everyone wanted a piece of that guy. You would see him everywhere, collabing with everyone. And this was partly due to his very loyal and almost rabid fan base. But it was, of course, all by design. You see, back in 2023, Pokimane would make the very interesting revelation that Sykkuno had the highest female demographic fan base compared to any other streamer, her included. She would compare his level of fame and the way his fans acted towards him to K-pop idols. He simply wasn't seen like the run-of-the-mill Twitch streamer. No, there was definitely more to this. And one of the main reasons why this worked out so well is because he was seen as a boy failure. No, not the kind of guy who's unemployed and lives in a dump and smells like shit. I'm talking about the ideal boy failure. The guy who's handsome, smells nice, doesn't live in a dump, but is in...
By the way, this is the female equivalent of the born sexy yesterday trope, is this boy failure thing.
Instead, just a hopeless romantic. Someone who turns all red when you want to initiate physical contact. The most innocent, naive soul imaginable. The appeal of a boy failure isn't necessarily that he's a failure. It's the fact that he's perfect, but just needs one person to fix him. And that's how a significant chunk of his fan base felt. If you've watched my channel...
There's a trope in movies where you have some girl who is, for some reason, enters the world as like a complete and total innocent virgin who can't... He's never been touched by a man before, but she's also like absurdly fucking hot and sexy and stumbles into some loser guy who can teach her the ropes and help her learn everything, and then probably her first sexual experience or whatever. It's not Manic Pixie Dream Girl, it's the... Yeah, fuck. We watched a thing on this a while ago.
Before, then it's not too different from a girl failure that has a male audience that wants to fix her. It's the same parasocial mess. This can be very easily seen in... If you've watched my channel before, then it's not too different from a girl failure that has a male audience that wants to fix her.
Oh, I've never heard that trope before, but okay.
It's the same parasocial mess. This can be very easily seen in some of the most viral fan-made videos of Sykkuno, like this one for example, setting at over 3 million views. Sykkuno tells his trauma about girls. Sykkuno trusts his friend, Disguised Toast, more than the girls. So this guy had barely any romantic experience, and yet still, he had his heart broken. He needs a woman that will fix him and tell him it'll be okay. And maybe she'll be one of his fans. If only he knew how handsome and amazingly desirable he was, though. Because he's another fan-made video. Everyone's simping for Sykkuno because who doesn't? I mean, God, if only he wasn't a boy failure and understood how smooth he was with women. But he's too naive. Because guess what? This video, sitting at over 4 million views, is titled Sykkuno being smooth with girls for 14 minutes. Yeah, I think you get the point by now, right? This image of him...
Every woman thinks she's the first one ever to get with a nerdy guy because they're super innocent and sweet, and then they're shocked when buddy has like 50 buddies or 50 bodies because every other girl has the same fucking idea. But I don't think so. There's some other thing at play here because as soon as these girls will get a hold of a guy like this, they will become like very possessive and very jealous very quickly. Like if another girl starts talking to him, she knows what's up, and she's not going to assume like, oh, like, well, my guy won't talk to those girls in a sexual manner because of course, you know, like he's such a boy failure, he's such a innocent whatever that would never happen. Like she'll know instantly. Hey, bitch, get the fuck off my guy, because she knows. They know.
Was so carefully
Type
crafted
shit.
would attract a very large female audience. It would also allow him to be one of the only male streamers to constantly be able to hang out with a majoritarily female friend group without him or them getting in trouble with their fan bases.
The gay-coded friend. I feel like when you get later into this game, I feel like there's so many unintentionally broken combos. This pummel attack is way too strong with high mana and mana mill, I feel like.
Due to jealousy. The guy was innocent, allergic to love, and he wouldn't hurt a single fly. This allowed him to do things that other male content creators could never do. Like, dude, this is him sniffing the armpit of Fuslie at some point during a podcast when they were talking about body odor. This is how much he was trusted around women. And even though his audience was very obsessed over him, they saw him as so awkward, so incapable of understanding what love or social cues mean that this was fine. They didn't mind, because they were going to be the ones to fix him anyway. So it comes as no surprise that yes, some relationships literally ended over the girl's obsession over him. Hell, I wouldn't be surprised if some gay relationships ended because of the same reason too. He was just that much of a sensation, and that crafted image he built around himself was just so believable and convincing. And so he'd keep on doing what he's always done, and after his 2-year contract with YouTube would finally end during May 2024, he would make his grand comeback to Twitch, peaking at over 26,000 viewers.
Wait, am I gonna kill this
However,
thing?
his viewer count would slowly begin to drift. And by April 2026, he'd be sitting at 1,665 average viewers, a far cry from the peak of the pandemic back at 50,000. He'd also stopped collabing with larger content creators as much as he used to, mostly sticking to himself. But hell, I mean, 1,600 average viewers is still very easy to make a living off of. He had made his millions of dollars, had this incredibly obsessive fan base. As far as content creator careers go, this really wasn't so bad. The guy was a multimillionaire. What people weren't aware of, though, is that for many years since becoming a viral sensation, he would use his status as Sykkuno, as the most desirable streamer imaginable, as this K-pop idol, to pursue relationships with smaller or up-and-coming content creators, whether they be cosplayers or VTubers, manipulating them into thinking that they were special, all in the hopes of hooking up with them and while being in a monogamous relationship. This is the real
psycho. More like Psycho Kuno, am I right?
Proof. Hemamal VT, who I'll refer to as Mal from now on, is someone who has been making content for the last year. She occasionally streams from time to time, but also tends to post cosplays on her Twitter profile, some of them being revealing. Those revealing cosplays would catch Sykkuno's attention, and he'd follow her on Valentine's Day of 2026. Within barely a few days, he would start talking about how they should move in together into the same house, all while having a girlfriend. When Mal would find out about the girlfriend, she would decide to write a Google document.
Thank God. Very normal. Whenever I have issues with somebody, my first thought is, well, I guess actually I am the manifesto writer, but that's when I made it public first. My first thought is I need to tell the entire fucking world about how it's also crazy too, because like, why are you writing a Google Doc on your L? Why are you writing this? What could the possible motivation be? But we know they're just a girl.
Google document would contain Mal's side of the story as well as Elfie Leah's side of the story. Another VTuber who, of course, also posts cosplays from time to time, which is why Sykkuno was interested in her to begin with. She also had no idea that Sykkuno had a girlfriend and would meet up with him during December 2025 in Paris when he would travel for a convention.
I'm clicking follow back, it's not working.
On what? Shut up.
actually end up sleeping with Sykkuno, again, completely oblivious that he has a girlfriend. They would both share their stories and the DMs with Sykkuno in the Google document. This document would be 32 pages long, and it would detail both of their experiences with Sykkuno, leading up to the revelation of the fact that he has a girlfriend, as well as a link to the full 17-minute YouTube video in which Mal would confront Sykkuno about cheating on his girlfriend with her. Here's how it would start off. On Valentine's Day of this year, I was followed on Twitter by Sykkuno. I thought it was amazing that such a big content creator even knew I existed, let alone followed me on social media. He had been my role model.
It is kind of fucked up here. Can you believe that he would really message this girl for sex?
Oh, I've already
Really?
been through this, Steven. Brother, this guy, he needs to leave all these girls to us. He's a menace.
Chill! What is wrong with you?
This motherfucker's a menace, man. We gotta cancel his ass.
Chill! Jesus, I need to stop going through this one. Oh my god, okay.
And someone I looked up to for a long time, ever
Jesus.
since my days in high school. However, what I learned about Sykkuno after that day would make me regret my decision.
And she messaged
Sykkuno
him?
is
I think so.
not the kind, soft-spoken character you see on stream. He is a serial cheater, liar, and manipulator who uses his status to get what he wants from as many women as possible. More specifically, ones who are smaller or up-and-coming content creators, knowing that he can take advantage of them. After confiding in many others that have had similar experiences with Sykkuno, I realized that this was not an isolated incident. In fact, it was something that had been going on for multiple years.
What?
He always made sure to cover his tracks and never left a paper trail significant enough for someone to make this public.
Never left a paper trail? I feel like we're getting a doc about Enron. What are we talking about here? Oh my god.
But now, this has all changed. These are serious allegations, and I fully understand that this should not be treated lightly. I urge all other content creators...
Wait! This cat is not about to die, right? I have the cooler box.
Thank you, okay.
personally affected by Sykkuno's behavior to not remain silent, as I believe that there is strength in numbers. This document will not only include proof from me, but from another victim who has given me her consent
Another
as well.
victim.
Below,
Consent,
you will find
consent,
evidence that
consent.
will expose this calculated pattern of love bombing and manipulation,
Love bombing, manipulation,
as well as a recording of a voice call where he explicitly admits to all his wrongdoings, everything. All right, so already this is one hell of an intro to the document, right? One thing I want to point
This is one hell of an intro. Oh my god.
out is the urging of all other content creators who have been personally affected by Sykkuno to come out about this. As I had already mentioned, there are many people who were affected by his actions throughout the year.
Does the whole drama boil down to him cheating? Is this literally it? Yes. The problem is well, kind of, but not really. The problem is that the girl didn't get him in the end. If Sykkuno would have agreed to date her, then nothing would have been written. It would have been fine.
In fact, if Sykkuno traveled to any expo or convention or event, then you can bet a hefty sum of money that he always had someone there who he flew out, hoping that he could bring them to his hotel room. Anyway, the next section of the document would be titled, Our First Conversation. After Valentine's Day, I was so excited about him following me that I told a friend who then urged me to strike up a conversation. I finally worked up the courage to send him a DM and he replied right away. So here we can see on the 15th of February, Mal would send, "Are you still looking for a Valentine's Day perhaps?" To which Sykkuno would say, so innocently,
Okay. Never mind.
"What? You can't just open up with..."
I don't know how to describe this, but there's a thing that like blondes can do with their hair that makes it look, there's just like a lot of different colors and volume and good stuff going on. And then there's like this like scraggly, horrible blonde look. Why do so many girls do this scraggly, horrible blonde look? Can somebody explain to me why? Give example. I know that Melina did her hair nice like this. I'm sure we could probably find... I don't know what to... Hold on. You're old. This is hot now. Is it though? Okay, hold on. The London Times just wrote an article about... Okay, no relation, but... Okay. Look at this hair. Disgusting. Horrible. Okay? but I feel like this is what a lot of people do now. But then look at this. I feel like this is a million times, whatever is going on here with the coloring, I feel like this is like a million times better. But I feel like so much gravitates towards this. I'm looking at the Sabrina Carpenter picture, and it's like, it just looks horrible. This hair, or the coloring is just bad. I don't know why. But then I feel like, but there must be a reason why. Maybe it's just like a trendy thing and I just don't understand it, or it's just like the trend I don't get or whatever. It's called a balayage. It's called bleached versus natural. Oh, women's hair is naturally colored and everything like this. Oh, of course, my bad, true. Okay. We found the I like women with no makeup person.
Was something like that? And besides, Valentine's Day is almost over where I'm from already. To which she would reply with, I mean, we can always do a Valentine's Day, so February, current fight with Luau titled Our First
Also, stay winning on this take that most of you motherfuckers disagree with me with. I don't think there is ever a reason ever to DM somebody unless you're trying to fuck. I don't think there's any reason to DM a large content creator if you're just like a normie person, unless you're trying to fuck them. There's just no reason. There's no reason for it. But like, on top of that, when your first message is a flirty message, Jesus Christ, what do you expect? What do you expect? So you're saying I can shoot my shot? Yeah, shoot away. But I'm just saying that's how most people are going to interpret it. And there's no real reason to why just leave a public comment? Why would you send a private message? It's just like
conversation. After Valentine's Day, I was so excited about him following me that I told a friend who then urged me to strike up a conversation.
I don't understand who's furthering the incentive structure for women to keep going and succeeding at twit-longering men for the most retarded things ever. There's literally no one that benefits from this besides snarker types, and I refuse to believe these people are the ones setting the new standards for how interpersonal interaction should go. This is not a snarker phenomenon, unfortunately. This is like a false women's empowerment phenomenon. Basically, there's like the dynamics and all this are so cancerous and AIDS and complicated, but like one of the reasons why men used to get away with fucking younger women, okay, and it wasn't considered a horrible, devious thing, technically, socially speaking, is because you were supposed to pair off with a person that you fucked. The idea of even men running around, and red pillars and other retards will tell you different, but like, even men aren't supposed to be ultra promiscuous, like in traditional land, right? With some limited exceptions. You can't just run around and fuck everything, because most people in high society or in conservative society would look down on you for doing that. That's not good. So like when people look at like Jerry Springer, I think that the woman he dated was like 17 or whatever. So not great, okay? Not the best. But like she is pairing off with this guy with the understanding that he's probably going to like pursue like a long-term relationship and maybe try to get married. I think they did, right? Did he marry his... Wait, what did I said Jerry Springer? I'm sorry, Seinfeld. They're all curly-haired Jews to me, okay? Seinfeld.
True.
The idea is supposed to be, well, if he's making a promise, he's going to marry this woman, whatever. It is what it is. Even if they start young, it's okay. They're getting married, ideally, But nowadays, women want to explore all of the sexual empowerment and freedom and all of that, but they still expect to some extent for like a guy they pair off with that there is some kind of like implicit promise of a long-term relationship or something at the end. Like they want to invert the roles a little bit somehow. But then the weird thing is that when they don't want all of the negative baggage that women always get when they sleep around, which is still true. Even in liberal circles, women will pretend that they don't feel like there's a negative stimulus attached to a woman who sleeps around, but they all still intuitively feel this way, or most of them do. So they want to like abandon that, I guess that social stigma, but then they want the men to have like the conservative like pair off mindset. It's like it's very weird and annoying and stupid. I hate it all. It's just
I don't understand what you're saying.
If a woman is being like super slutty and she finds a guy and she really wants to pair off with a dude, if that guy ends up not dating her she will feel like insanely fucking scorned. And if it's like a public related guy, I would say there's like a 10 to 25% chance that she's going to write a public doc on how he played her.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying now. Yeah.
Which
okay.
is, yeah. But there's like, yeah, but but the way that we got here, it's like the confluence of so much stupid shit. I'm sorry, negative stigma, not stimulus, is it right? Like, yeah. All of these conversations just got abused and destroyed so much by red pillars, and then by internet feminists, and then by young people, that it's impossible to have any real conversations about sex or sexual dynamics or anything because of how stupid everybody, like men and women, for as much as I love everybody, men and women are just never going to be the same, or probably won't be the same necessarily when it comes to sexual stuff, and that there's always going to be a lot more risk related to the woman than there is to the man, which means that women are probably going to be a bit more selective, and the higher selectivity of women when it comes to sex means that there's an issue related to women choosing men to fuck. The men that women choose to fuck are almost always going to be in the same group of men that they would date. But men have a much, much, much wider gamut of women they would fuck than women they would date. And this mismatch is like a very, very, very hard thing intuitively, conceptually, for both sides to overcome. Both sides don't understand it. It's very, very, very difficult for them. And it just leads to a lot of, it cashes out into so many stupid situations like this. What I'm trying to say is everybody should just be gay, and then we'd all have the same standards because we're all gay. We know what the other person's thinking because we're the same gender.
Finally worked up the courage to send him a DM, and he replied right away.
They can't have their cake and eat it too. No, they shouldn't. They're retarded. But that's what a lot of, especially younger women and these women in these spaces are trying to do, are have their cake and eat it too. I get it though, because technically men did a lot of the same shit, where it's like, I'm going to jerk off to porn every day. I'm going to jerk off to OnlyFans girls every day. I love doing this shit. But also these girls are fucking sluts and whores, and I hate them all. And also girls need to put out on the first date. But if you put out on the first date with me, I'm never wifing you up because I know you're a slut. But if you don't put out on the first date with me, you're a fucking piece of shit bitch who's like a frigid cunt or whatever. Like, it's, it's all retarded as fuck. Oh my God, it's all so stupid.
Strike up a conversation. I finally worked up the courage to send him a DM, and he replied right away. So here we can see on the 15th of February, Mal would send, "Are you still looking for a Valentine's date, perhaps?" To which Sykkuno would say, so innocently, "What? You can't just open up with something like that? And besides, Valentine's Day's almost over where I'm from already."
Like, this is a very obvious I want to fuck message. That is the most obvious. If a girl were to message me this, the only question is when and where. Or if I want to, I guess, depending on how buttery my steaks are. Like, this girl's so obvious as fuck. If a girl DMs you with this as a guy and you look at her profile, it's, okay, Jesus, let's go. I mean, Jesus, you want to, tomorrow? Do you live in LA? Like, it's like so obvious. Jesus.
To which she would reply with, "I mean, we can always do a Valentine's Day do-over, you know?" In the same first conversation, he brought up what kind of games he liked to play and invited me to play with him after a convention. On the left image, we can see them discussing sleep schedules, right? Understanding what time it is for her, what time it is for him. And on the right image, we can see him say, "What games do you like to play? I'm like a massive game player. That's usually how I meet people or make friends, to be honest."
Okay, I don't know. Hold on.
What games?
I'm so sorry. I'm just way more straightforward now, okay? But I'm just curious. This is like a little trick when you ask a girl, like, "Oh, what time is it?" What you're trying to see is if they say the same time as you, then you know that they're in the same time zone.
Time.
So, well, no, you can just get a little bit closer where they live without being super forward. So a girl DMs you like, "Oh shit," it's like, "What time is it where you're at?" And if they give like a time zone that's like EST and your PST, you're like, "Ah, fuck it." But if they give like the same time, you're like, "Oh my God, wait, oh shit, same time here. Are you in California?" Whatever. Right? I wonder if that was the goal here for Sykkuno. I don't know. I don't know. All right.
Do you like to play? I'm like a massive game player. That's usually how I meet people or make friends, to be honest. In the next couple of images, we can see Sykkuno talk about the game he was playing, which was Outlast Trials, saying that maybe Mal could carry him. She would agree, give him her Discord, and then wonder, "Hey, are you done soon with your stream? Because I'm getting tired." She hadn't slept all night. She was pulling an all-nighter. He'd apologize for taking so long, and then he'd say that he has a convention to go.
This up.
Well, no, he didn't, because he fucked her. I'm pretty sure they were smashing, so...
No, he never smashed this girl, I'm pretty sure.
Are you sure?
I think so.
And she docked him? She Me Too'd him?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they hadn't smashed it because I don't think EU TwitchCons happened, did it? This one he didn't.
Oh, well, what the fuck? Damn.
Yeah, she docked his ass.
So after making her wait for like a few hours, he would say, "Hey, listen, can we just play tomorrow? I have a convention to go to." And they would agree, "Okay, let's play after the convention." This is what would lead us to the next section. Interest in where I live. For context, this is still the same day as the first conversation, only moved to Discord and a few hours apart since I'm EU time zone and he's US time zone. So yeah, these DMs have the timestamp of 10 a.m. EU time. The last DMs we can see on Twitter were at 9 a.m. So this is barely have the timestamp of 10.
Wow, look, you can tell it's EU because of the date format and the fact that there's a single digit month in the middle. You can tell that here, and there's a 0 in front of it. Those are European timestamps for Discord.
You're the Discord timestamp knower.
Yeah. Don't ask me how I know that one.
a.m. EU time. The last DMs we can see on Twitter were at 9 a.m. So this is barely an hour later after they added each other. Mal would continue by saying, things started out innocently enough with him inquiring about fun things to do near where I live, such as aquariums and conventions. TwitchCon EU specifically. I'd like to point out that I said we could go on a date to make up for Valentine's. He not once expressed to me any discomfort or that he wasn't single. So yeah, this is how it goes. If someone expresses interest in you, right, you typically tell them fairly quickly that you're already in a committed relationship. You don't just let things slide. Mal had no reason to think that...
Why? Is that... He's pretty brazen here. I wonder if him and his girlfriend were open, or did he really just not...
No, he was cheating.
Like, instantly, though? Like, he's not paranoid that his girlfriend, or maybe I've been in too many toxic situations. He's not paranoid that his girlfriend wouldn't, like, make another account or get a friend to DM him to see if he would. He's just like, there's no test. There's no test at all there. He just fucking goes. Jesus.
Yeah.
That's wild, bro. My favorite test or whatever is is getting a DM from a random number on WhatsApp, and they're like, "Hey, what's up? My other number or my account got deleted, or right to switch numbers or whatever. We were just chatting. You remember me, right?" To see if the guy gives the right name. Oh shit.
Sykkuno was already taken. Otherwise, he would have said something after she proposed a date. He'd ask, did they have an aquarium? I'm a big fan of aquariums. She'd say, there's artists in Amsterdam. Could make it a date, you know, to make up for Valentine's. He'd only reply with, a what? Lol? Continuing on with his innocent persona, but he'd never say, oh, no, actually, wait, like, I want to meet up as friends. I'm actually in a relationship. Not once. The next section will be titled, Following My Private Instagram. He would also follow my personal...
Is it okay to do tests like that? These are, I think testing on relationships like that is kind of a catch-22, to where if you're testing like that, I mean,
it's already
like,
cooked, man.
Yeah, if the guy is innocent, I think the guy has a right to be like, or a girl, I guess, it has a right to be like, this is kind of fucked, like, what the fuck? It's like going through somebody's phone, but then if you find somebody, obviously you're vindicated, but then the relationship's over anyway, so I feel like if you're at that, I feel like it's just kind of like fucked, you know?
Yeah, that's a big truth, Steve.
You gotta have fucking trust. Or you're
yeah.
cooked.
Private Instagram that is only available to my IRL friends and family while using his official Sykkuno account. So
The
you can see an image
official
of Sykkuno
account?
following her with her personal account name being hidden since it's personal. The next section will be titled Making Plans to Meet Me in Person. So bear in mind, this was the next
thing
day.
is I
Okay,
don't
the
think this
16th
video is doing a good enough job of actually going through the doc, because this lady sounds a lot crazier when you read the whole fucking doc word for word, like genuinely.
Wait, do you know what
he's
this
doing a
video
bit of-
is?
No, I haven't watched this video.
Oh, this guy collaborated with the accusers. This video dropped like 1 hour after the doc did, so they were all working together on this.
Jesus
yeah.
Christ,
Yeah, exactly.
man.
Is this the shit that we watched?
No, we didn't watch the video. We just went over the
No,
doc.
no, I mean,
didn't know there was a
the
video.
doc that we went through.
Yeah, it's the doc,
That was
but
the
I didn't know
biggest
they made a
fucking nothing
video.
burger of all time.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, sorry.
Well, it's gonna nuke this guy though. Well, at least
Because I'll let it.
the way that he used to market himself to women, because it kind of relied on this veneer of, oh, I'm such a cute
Virgin anime boy.
Yeah.
The worst.
Wait, why did I get linked this? My
Smooth.
Sykkuno
Is your hair,
impersonation.
Blue?
Not yet. We still gotta get the dying stuff.
Well, we
but
got time for that, Joel.
Or I don't know. Like I just like, if you go to my
Mafia Jinx.
Twitter, I made a birthday post for Sykkuno.
Oh,
I know
God.
how you feel about him.
Oh no.
Oh wait, I'll try to play this game better for you, okay?
Would you like me to gank your lane?
Jesus Christ.
You know, I've never actually played a game with him before, so.
Oh well, I mean, you know, if you really want,
I can't listen to this. Okay, stop.
You were good.
Stop.
15th of February. They had
Jesus
started
Christ.
talking on the 15th. He followed her on the 14th. The document would say, in this 2-hour Discord gaming call, the same day as our first conversation, Sykkuno made plans to meet me IRL. It was set to be the same weekend as Dokumi 2026 since he was flying over anyway to attend TwitchCon EU. Going to the aquarium would be our first date. I also learned that there is a 15-year age gap between us.
Oh, I just learned. 15 years. That's basically statutory rape. He's a rapist. Don't say me.
Look, I personally spoke to the victim about this. I asked, like, would that usually have been like a red flag or a turnoff? She said yes. But the thing is...
I'm sorry. Fuck. Stop.
Girls don't like older men.
I'm gonna hate. Don't make me hate women. I already hate women so much. Stop.
15-year age gap between us. Right, so look, I personally spoke to the victim about this. I asked, like, would that usually have been like a red flag or a turnoff? She said yes. But the thing is, this is Sykkuno we're talking about here.
Like, kill me, bro. Oh my god.
Right? So she made an exception because as you saw in the intro of this document, she used to watch him in high school. She genuinely looked up to him. To say that she was starstruck was an understatement, and that's exactly what he was counting on. Now, while keeping that 15-year age gap in mind, this next section definitely hits different. It's titled, Making Plans to Move In Together. These messages would be on the 17th of February. 2 days.
By the way, a hot take. I do think it works more on women than it does on men, but being older is, I think, a multiplier of whatever you've got going on. And I think it works both ways. Maybe a little bit better on women, but if you're like a 19-year-old guy and there's like a 35-year-old woman, but she's like, you know, attractive and shit, and she's trying to hit on you or whatever, that guy is 1,000,000,000,000% every single time going for that. You tell me this woman will pay for my dinner? Like every single time. I think that age is just a multiplier. The thing is that the things that we tend to value in men, so like income, competency, stability, whatever else, ideally are increasing in age. And for men that obsess over just like appearance or whatever on women, it tends to peak around, you know, probably what, 13, 14. Just kidding. Stop. I don't know, in your 20s or whatever guys think. So it tends to always look one way, but younger guys will go for older women if the older woman is.
How long is this video?
1 hour.
Holy.
After they started talking, it would say, with Sykkuno, our relationship moved so incredibly fast it almost felt like a dream. It was like he could make anything I wanted happen. And as someone as prolific and successful as him, I had no reason to doubt anything he said to me. These screenshots show that Sykkuno and I were intending to adopt a cat and have me possibly move into his house. I told him we couldn't get a cat yet due to me not being a US citizen and possibly having visa issues. Keep in mind, this conversation happened 2 days after the first conversation. So in this first image of these...
I hate men. You really can't just be friends and be normal, can you? Listen, I feel you, girl. I hate women. You really can't just like fuck a little bit and be chill, right? Exactly. See, same problems, just on the other side of the fence. That's how it goes.
Set of DMs, we can see them talking about pets in general, right? About how he might be allergic to certain pets, about how his current dog doesn't trigger his allergies. So they start discussing the prospect of getting a cat. Mal would say, I mean, if I'm there anyways, we'll have to think of a name, no? To which Sykkuno would say, yeah, but I don't know if I can take care of it myself. Mal would say, or were you just gonna name it Cat? He'd say, you'll have to stay to help take care of it, lol. To which she'd say, I'm okay with that, though I don't know how that would work with me staying there.
I feel like this is not a 100% serious thing, but how long was this conversation after they first met? Is this still the same day?
This is like a day or two after, if I recall.
Okay.
They talked on the 15th, and this is the 17th, so this is 2 days later.
Okay, Jesus.
I can't stay forever either, you know, because I'm not an American citizen and I'll also probably have to go back as well. Because I mean, I hope at least that I can go back to studying end of this year. And like in
Just
general,
reopen the
everything
Twitter
is so
link, man. You'll
expensive.
understand
Then
why.
he'd say, oh yeah, that's true. Okay, maybe we can get a cat together another time then. Besides, don't you already have a cat? Which she'd say, yeah, but they're my dad.
Is the age gap thing a shock to the woman because Sykkuno looks hella young? No. The age gap, all of the benefits just become inverted if it doesn't play out well. So a guy who's older than you is emotionally mature, is more financially stable, it has more experience in life, and these things are just all like strictly positive. But then if the relationship doesn't work out, oh, well, that additional experience he used that to manipulate me. Oh, that financial stability that he has, he used that to exploit a power differential in us. Oh, that emotional maturity or whatever, that was just used to manipulate and be a predator and gaslight me. Like, it's fucking stupid.
Also, did you finally order the food? And he'd say, oh, I see. So you wouldn't have to bring them if you just moved somewhere. To which she'd say, no, I guess not though. I'd miss them so much, so I'd definitely have to get new pets. So barely a couple days after speaking to each other, Sykkuno's out here discussing getting a pet together, taking care of it, raising it together, and looking into the possibility of her maybe moving in together with him one day. This was as he was sharing a home with his girlfriend. The next section will be titled Lying About Being Single.
Would you agree there's a phenomenon of people that surround streamers / celebs that end up drastically overestimating the relationship they have with someone because of the parasocial connection? They'll approach them buddy and then assume the conversation is as like longtime friends on their side, while celebs / streamers interprets as a romantic approach. No. I think everybody generally knows what's going on. And I think these are issues that have existed for as long as men and women have fucked each other.
And dating history. In this screenshot, Sykkuno said he has only ever had one relationship his entire life. I would eventually find out that that was a lie and that he had been dating and living in the same house as his girlfriend for years, and that I was not the only girl on the internet that he spoke to on a daily basis.
Well, I mean, like, Sykkuno's definitely playing into being a little fucking naive whatever guy here, but if somebody were to tell me, I don't know, LOL, I've only like actual dated someone once. When somebody says that to me, what I'm hearing is that like you had one real long-term relationship and maybe a string of smaller ones where you either didn't live together or they didn't last long. That's what that sounds like to me. But
so here we can see DMs of them discussing this topic. Mal would say, I mean, you've been in relationships before. It's not like it's your first relationship, referencing what they might potentially have going on. To which he'd reply with, I don't know, lol. I've only like actually dated someone once and they broke up with me, so yeah, I think I'm just not very good, so it's probably just a me issue. To which he'd say, did you like never do anything for your ex, like at all? To which he'd say, I mean, I think I did. I don't think she thought I did, so yeah. But I mean, everyone has their own way of what they want, so it's important to be like, are you getting what you want? And if you're not, I totally understand. Mal, of course, would want to inquire as to what he was saying. Like, what do you mean you think you did? Like what? But he'd never specify, and he'd always keep it vague, keeping up this persona that he crafted, the one that was allergic to love, that had no idea like what was going on with women. This would lead us right into the next section, allergic to love, that had no idea like what was going on with women.
Well, I mean, I think I did. I don't think she thought I did. So yeah, but I mean, everyone has their own way of what they want. So it's important to be like, are you getting what you want? And if you're not, I totally understand. It just sounds like they had a mismatched relationship or they were looking for different things in the relationship. That's not that confusing there. But okay.
This would lead us right into the next section titled Sexting. We texted every single day, and these interactions would be charged with flirting and suggestive topics. I would send him suggestive pictures and audios, and he would confirm that he'd touch himself to them. Additionally, he'd always act flustered and inexperienced, keeping up the illusion of his on-stream innocent persona. We'd also regularly talk about date ideas and things we'd like to do together in the future when we'd meet up IRL. Topics that are usually discussed between two adults who are clearly romantically interested in each other. On top of texting, we also called almost every single day, even after he'd stream for over 8 hours. We talked
8 hours, full-time streamer.
And play games regularly. One thing I'd noticed is that every time we called and when he spoke, he'd be whispering and never fully use his voice. His excuse was that it's because he was tired after a long stream, and I didn't really find that to be suspicious. Using your voice for 8 hours in a row doesn't—
Wait! I didn't actually read through this whole doc. Is this guy cheating on his girlfriend while they're living together? And he's playing with these girls? Holy shit. God damn, are you okay? This guy's cheat maxing. Are you okay? Holy fuck.
Exhausted after all. I now realize that he was quiet because his girlfriend lived with him and he didn't want her to hear. So in this first set of DMs, we can see them discussing things to watch together. Sykkuno saying, let's watch something. Mal would say we should. He would say, let's watch a cooked Netflix dating show because those are funny, or both. And Mal would say we should. And do you also want to play games like Helldivers or Overwatch or etc.? In the next image, we can see them discussing the spicy audio that she sent him at some point. He'd say, you do too. She would say, yeah, like in that audio recording I sent you, to which she would act flustered over and say, huh? Oh my God. Well, yes, you really sounded cute in that too. Which she would say, did you ever re-listen to it or only that once? In the next screenshot, we can see them discussing going on a gym date. Mal expressed to him how much she enjoys going to work out at the gym, and so Sykkuno would inquire about what a gym date looks like. This is when they discuss it more. In the next two set of DMs, we can see them talking about more spicy topics. Mal would say, you get flustered so easily. And then Sykkuno would say, because I'm not. I've never done like this kind of thing before, lol. To which she would say, and? You don't like it? He'd continue saying, which is crazy because I'm older than you, but like I haven't really dated much, so. And then Mal would say, so? You have me now. He'd reply with, My XP bar is low, but no, I do it. I've never gotten something like this before. Yes, I like it. It's so good. I can't wait to use it later. As in, I can't wait to grill my sausage to it later, whatever she sent. To which she would reply with, you know, I've kind of wondered if you've ever touched yourself while watching what I send you. To which he'd say, what? Why would you wonder that? She'd say, well, because they're spicy pictures and videos. Of course, I wonder if you put them to use. And then he'd say, I'll definitely put this one to use. She'd say, so you've never done so before? And then he would say, maybe in all caps with a flustered sweating emoji. This is when she'd put her foot down and say, I want a yes or no. And then he would say, yes, of course I have. How could I not? Overall, these DMs were a balance of spicy and wholesome, just like what you'd expect when two people are romantically interested in each other, saying goodnight to each other, inquiring on their health. He'd compliment her on her appearance. She'd say, I love getting compliments from you. Good morning, handsome. What are you up to? But this romantic interest wouldn't just be expressed with words. No.
Do your PSA that flirting always sounds cringe, please. Well, I mean, it does sound cringe, but like,
inquiring on their health, you'd expect when two people are not. Overall, no. And then he would say,
one thing you have to be careful, I guess it depends on what you're going for. Like, this advice wouldn't be for Sykkuno, because obviously Sykkuno is trying to mindfuck people, but it is really manipulative. When you try to make somebody feel special or feel unique, that is like especially when you're lying about it, definitionally, this is very manipulative. So, you know, if there's some person that you want to bang and you're like, oh, like you're the only person I've ever done this with before. This has never, ever, ever happened to me before. Like the goal in your speech is to create like a very special, unique feeling in that other person's mind. That is very manipulative, especially because he's lying about it. You know?
Getting compliments from you. Good morning, handsome. What are you up to? But this romantic interest wouldn't just be expressed with words. No, for Sykkuno, he'd make sure to express it financially too. This is what would lead us to the next section, titled Sugar Daddy.
Oh no. Not my 281.16 euro sugar daddy.
Less than a month later, Sykkuno would randomly ask for my PayPal account in DMs. He'd then waste no time in sending me money unprompted. Something
I always say that because I feel like that's what girls want to hear. Is that bad? I mean, it's manipulative.
That I'd later realize was simply a behavioral pattern that he'd employ with women he'd express interest in. I want to reiterate that I have never asked him for his money, and he did this of his own volition. He bought me both a gym jacket, linked below, and Resident Evil 9, because I had expressed interest in that game. Here we can see two payments. The first one sent on the 28th of February 2026, 81 euros, and the second one being 200 euros on the 5th of March 2026. The sender was the business, Sykkuno. He'd innocently ask for a PayPal username on the 28th of February. He'd start off the conversation with, you still aren't asleep either? To which she'd say, I fell asleep, woke up again because I'm having trouble sleeping. He would then say, oh, well, good morning. And what's your PayPal so I can buy you games later? She'd say, huh? Straight to the point. Jesus, I need to update my email to my PayPal because it's my old name from before I rebranded. When he would send her money for a gym jacket, at some point she'd say, want me to send it back? To which he'd say, no, I wanted you to get a nice gym vest, lol. Especially because it seems like you're really passionate about working out, so I thought it'd be nice. And then you can remember me when you're wearing it. I thought it was a cute idea. She'd buy one, she'd wear
The real question is, do you think he was writing these purchases off as a business expense?
it, she'd send it to him, and she'd say, I wore it with the green set because I know how much you like green. She'd also make a tweet on her account while wearing it, saying, this gym jacket is literally so comfy, the muscle mommy arc will be real. So up until this point, this was Mal's experience with Sykkuno. The next section is titled A Calculated Pattern of Love Bombing and Manipulation. And this is where we talk about Elphilia's side of the story. The document would say, after speaking to Elphilia a few days ago, we were able to corroborate our experiences with Sykkuno and learned that we were both victims.
This girl is genuinely retarded if she only farmed $281. Well, the girl is young and hot as fuck and active on Twitter, so my guess is she's probably fine financially, so she's not thinking much about it. At Destiny, for this point, how much honesty do you owe a rando you just started talking to if you're a private guy like Sykkuno who publicly portrays his relationship side as a single to a person you were talking to for 2 days? You don't owe anybody anything, but if you're going to start, like, flirting with them, like, then you kind of do? What do you mean? What a stupid fucking question you type. This would be like me texting you and it'd be like, hey, I've known this person for 2 days and they're asking me if I have AIDS. Do you think I have to tell them that even though we just met like 2 days ago? And then you text them back and you're like, no, what the fuck? That's incredibly personal. And then you text them and then I text you back and I'm like, okay, thanks, bro. I'm going to go back to smashing now. Like, what? I mean, like the situation has changed. If like this is information that they probably are kind of owed, no?
this. We had no idea that he was talking to both of us at the same time. Sykkuno is known to send hundreds of dollars to the girls he wants to get involved with. This screenshot is from when he took my friend Elphilia to Paris during the 2025 TFT tournament, along with sending her 500 euros to help her move into her new apartment.
Damn.
You can clearly see that this was sent from his business email's PayPal account. So unlike the other
the business expands.
that was supplied by Mal, here we can clearly see this is Sykkuno at hotmail.com sending her all this money. A substantial amount, around 1,550 euros.
Oh, damn. To help with the move. D-face.
Steve.
What?
I need to take control of this Mohawk situation before this spirals out of control.
Uh-oh.
All right, I'm gonna, this is unfair. First off, I want to be clear on a few things. One, donated $1,000. Two, okay, the fucking time came and went before it was done, and I'm doing the best. I'm putting my camera here. You're gonna see. This is the best I can do on a fucking Mohawk. Okay, I'm not gonna fucking bick my hair. Okay, look.
Jesus, holy fuck. Wait, did you cut
what
it?
What more do you fucking want from me?
Bro, what the fuck is that, man?
Wait, did you cut your hair?
Yeah.
Nah, bruh.
Wait, hold on. I feel like that counts.
That definitely fucking
That is a
counts.
faux hawk, Dan.
What do you want me to do, Moo? What do you want me to do? My hair's
tell
no
ya.
fucking longer.
You gotta shave the sides.
I'm not fucking bicking my head in Little Israel, you psychotic retard.
What?
What
are you talking about?
What does bicking my head mean? What does that? What does it
And
mean
what
to,
does Little Israel got to do with it?
what does it mean to bick your head?
You're a maniac.
I feel like
man.
that counts. You should. I don't know why you said anything. You just shouldn't have said anything. I feel like that counts.
Yeah, it's good enough. Oh wait, he's got his cam on. Hold on. No one can hear you, you fucking retard.
I said it's not standing up because I don't have fucking hair glue.
No, that counts.
Yeah,
that's good. No, I think that counts. This looks a lot different than what I think I saw before. Yeah, this is good.
Okay, fuck them.
Yeah, it's because I can make it look like not retarded, basically. I can still kind of look normal a little bit.
Yeah, looks good.
Okay.
Good job.
You said the shower mohawk earlier. That's why people got mad. What is that? The thing we all do as children. I gotta look. I have a mohawk. War.
Mom, I got a mohawk.
I got a
Yeah,
mohawk.
that's why people were upset.
Probably.
Yeah,
but no,
honestly,
I donated
I donated $1,000, and I get the fucking mohawk after you retards do not hit the fucking time frame, and you're still fucking mad. Unironically, I'm gonna fucking charge back.
Jesus.
Literally.
Do it.
And then you won't be at 250K. Eat dick.
Oh my god. What do you want, Darius?
Hey, Steven. Remember when we did that race for that game called Returnal?
Maybe a long time ago. Yeah.
Yeah, well, there's another game coming out called Saros that's really similar on the 30th of April. I think we should run it back. Maybe up the stakes this time. Maybe a little bit more. Instead of $50, you go 100.
I'll think about it. Okay. I'll get back to you on that.
Okay.
Darius, I have fucking messaged you 100 times. If you don't respond,
Dude, you're asking me to do shit that requires me to like download fucking shit and code, and I'm like, dude, listen, I'm a businessman. Like, I gotta do stuff.
Okay.
Like, I can't sit here and like fucking put JSON files, and I don't even know what that JSON is, dude. I don't know how to make it work.
Who is JSON? Yeah.
I don't know.
I forgot I was dealing with a retard.
Dude, just give me like a minute, dude.
Okay.
Okay.
Can we get back to the video, damn it?
Mr. Moon would enjoy that
Be careful.
game as well, so
Okay.
look into
Looks
it.
good.
All under his business email. Here are the DMs in which we can see that he offered to pay for her flight to TFT Paris, as well as all the food and hotel fees there. Pretty much taking care of her financially during the entire trip.
Ooh.
So this starts off as far back as April 2025, with Sykkuno telling Elphilia, I'm probably going to Paris later this year for sure. I'm not sure on TwitchCon yet. I'm afraid I don't know enough people. He'd say, you should come to Paris when I go to it. Is it close? To which she'd say, Paris is pretty easy to go to, yeah, since it's in the European Union. He'd say, you better hang out then when I go there. She'd reply with, I'll have to see because I know nothing and no one there and it's expensive. To which he would say, I'll pay for it. Don't worry.
Ooh,
She'd say,
baller.
Yep.
Somebody's
Look at that.
balling.
Look at that emote.
Somebody's balling
Yeah.
out. Hell yeah. He's sipping lean with the big Ray-Ban contact lens. I don't know.
No big deal
He'd
for
do
his
that?
ass.
And then he'd say, yeah, of course. And all the food. She'd of course be ecstatic about this and say, you'd have to deal with my annoying ass though. And he would say, but you gotta choose places to eat, like the restaurants. And she'd say, deal. One day later, he'd reiterate, "You're fine. You never have to pay for anything."
That
Don't."
officially counts for the Mohawk, and we thank Dan tremendously for his graciousness and his commitment to the cause of democracy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ori, lol, how much is the flight usually from Netherlands to Paris and back? Because she lived in the Netherlands at the time. I think I'm going for like a TFT tournament or something like that. On the 10th of December 2025, we can see her saying, "I'm boarding now, see you soon," to which he would reply with, "See you soon, you have the hotel info, right?" Since they were going to share a room. This
Right.
brings us to the next section titled Elphilia's Experience. Elphilia would talk to Sykkuno on and off for the span of 5 years. During that time, she had absolutely no idea that he had a girlfriend in the 5 years that she had known him, and on and off flirted with him.
What the fuck?
Anytime she would bring up the topic of his love life, he would give the response of playing too many games and not going out enough to meet women to date. So bear in mind, she knew him since like 2021, back when he was like the most desired man on the entirety of Twitch or the streaming space. And even with all that flirting, he never once mentioned the relationship he's been in since 2021. So this was in the beginning of his relationship as well. So in this next set of DMs, we can see Elphilia saying, "Also, I have a question for you. Why are you single? Like, how?" To which he'd say, "Huh? That's a crazy question, lol. I think it's a combination of like playing too many games." To which she'd say, "Why crazy? Why is it a crazy question?" The guy was desired by anyone. Even after his viewership had fallen down a little bit, he could still DM anyone and get them to date him. It didn't make sense. The document would say, "Same calculated behavior and patterns, using his nerdy gamer boy facade to lure women into a false narrative." In this next set of DMs, Elphilia would be saying, "You're cute. You're this sweet to all girls, or am I just lucky?" To which he'd say, "Wah, lol. Only to the ones I think are cool." So as you can see, Elphilia is just starstruck. She can't believe this. She feels so lucky that Sykkuno, the guy who's desired by everyone, is giving her attention out of anyone else in the world. This is the effect he had on people, and he knew this. And just like with Mal, he would follow her personal Instagram with his official Sykkuno
so you're
Instagram
pro
page. It's
abuse.
genuinely like a deja vu to what he did with Mal. Like, it's the same patterns. The guy had a playbook, and he knew how to put it to use. The document would continue. Here is proof that Sykkuno was in Paris for the TFT event around this time too, directly from his Twitter. So here you can see this was posted around the 13th of December 2025 when he was in Paris. In this first tweet on the left, we can see him taking an image of Lily Pichu, who was also there, as well as him retweeting one of TFT's tweets saying, "Ultimate bragging rights have been secured at the TFT Paris Open." This is them
How did
announcing
Foosley
that
get away with the cheating, but the men can't? I don't understand.
Wait, did she cheat or just break up with her husband? I forgot.
I think she broke up with her husband, but she was with a guy who was cheating on his girlfriend that I think she knew about.
Oh, damn.
Uno's team had won, confirming that he was indeed there. The next
Girl
page
power.
of the document
Girl
will
boss.
show us a set of DMs between Sykkuno and Elphilia. The date would be the 3rd of March, 2026. So this would be 3 months after they had met up and hooked up. And this would be as he was talking with Mal. He'd say, "Oh my god, I was playing World of Warcraft. I saw this player. It reminded me of you." That's because that player had a similar looking name. She'd say, "Oh, you got reminded of me? That's cute." To which he'd say, "Of course."
Also, hot take.
Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think people would say if Sykkuno were to come out and ask, "Can I keep the not safe for work material that these girls sent me?"
They would say that he needs to delete it, no?
Correct. Do you think the girls should all have to refund Sykkuno on PayPal?
For the money? Yeah, and the trip. And the Paris
I think
trip.
they should have to pay it back.
True.
They should have
Big
to pay
time.
it back.
Oh, I was going to ask, were you planning on going to like Offkai or anything like that? That's a VTuber Expo, right? To which she would say, "I wish, but unfortunately I can't.
Just
My
nuke the
rent is now
VTuber
800
Expos."
euros per month and I'm living fully off of my savings, so I canceled all my travels for the year." The document would say, to add even more salt to the wound, after Elphilia's Paris trip, and 2 weeks after he had started talking to me, saying things like how he wants to move in with me and such, he would message Elphilia asking her if she'll be at Offkai. This is proof that he'd be talking to more than one woman at the same time, planning a hookup for every event he went to. He was doing this while giving me the impression that he wanted something long-term, and all while also having a girlfriend since 2021. Elphilia and I weren't friends until I found out that he was cheating on his girlfriend. This is when we both got in contact with each other and shared our stories. She deserves the world. This section would end with both Sykkuno and Elphilia talking about random topics, and then at the end of this DM chain, we can see Sykkuno saying, "How was your day?" To which she would reply with, "Awful. Spent the whole day crying. Crying right now. Why do some men cheat? I'll never understand."
Oh
the
my
document
God.
points out that this is ironic, seeing that Sykkuno is a cheater himself. So as you can see, when these two women spoke to
sorry.
each other and shared their stories, they were shocked. Shocked to know that they were being used so casually, and shocked to know that this man was in a relationship. But how is it that he did this for years with no consequences? How is it that there are many Elphilias and Mals out there with no one saying a thing? Well,
This is
they
where the
kind of
manipulation
did, which
comes
is what
in.
the next section is all about.
Oh my
It's
God.
titled Rumors and Broken Friendships. As I mentioned in the intro, no one made a public statement before because they never had sufficient evidence. Sykkuno would always talk about the most explicit and sensitive topics in voice calls or in person, never leaving a paper trail. This was all intentional. Rumors still managed to spread. Many content creators, both big and small, would vent to their friends about his behavior. Behind the scenes for many, he'd be known as a predator who regularly took advantage of small
Predator.
and or vulnerable
My favorite thing about like we've moved on to, because like rapist and everything was too much, people used it too much, and it's also like kind of extreme. So now they've got these words like manipulator, sex pest, predator. They don't like really mean anything, but you can kind of like just use them.
But they still sound like really bad.
They
fucking
do.
words,
Yeah.
creators. The reason why Sykkuno would abruptly stop hanging out with certain people throughout the years is because of this predatory behavior. However, he'd managed to keep enough influential friends around him to legitimize his position in the space, especially seeing that many of those friends were women who would have normally stood in solidarity with any sort of victim, making it seem like he was safe enough to trust because they trusted him enough to be a friend. As Elphilia spoke with Sykkuno, she'd tell him about rumors that she had heard from someone else, about how Sykkuno had a roster of readily available women, and how they all coincidentally were smaller content creators who wouldn't dare touch him if something went wrong. Elphilia, of course, didn't believe this. After all, Sykkuno had a calculated pattern that worked perfectly in his favor. His innocent, naive demeanor wouldn't dare hurt a fly, so why would he hurt me? So here we can see DMs between Elphilia and Sykkuno. She would start this off with saying, I don't know, he said he dislikes you, referencing a friend of hers, and that you only go for girls that are small so you can manipulate them with your shy persona. Yet he is doing that to my friend right now. Now, to which Sykkuno would say, oh yeah, I mean, I don't think that's true, but I guess people will say stuff randomly. I'm confused as to these people who think I'm going for them. I haven't really done that. But anyway, I'm sure it'll be fine. I mean, like I said before, people who know me will know me, and I guess he just dislikes me, which is totally fine. She'd say, exactly. He did say the only reason you haven't gotten called out is because you go after small creators and they'll never expose you. If you ever need proof of anything, I have receipts, just in case he tries anything funny. Sykkuno would say, oh, I feel like the way VTubers are, they would love to try and expose bigger streamers. They love drama, lol. But it's not true, so I think it's fine. I don't need receipts or anything, it's fine. But I thought he was chill. I'm kind of sad he was so angry. Elphilia would say, I know, just making sure you stay safe no matter what, love. Sykkuno would continue saying, I mean, why is he bringing up so much anyway, though? To which she'd say, he's jealous of you. I'm just playing League with him, and he brought you up out of the blue. To which he'd say, I don't think there's much to be jealous of, lol. But hopefully he feels better soon. And Elphilia ends this by saying, he said you hurt 5 of his friends, apparently.
Jesus
So this was on the
Christ.
22nd of December after they had met IRL, and Elphilia had no reason to doubt him, right? She still had no idea that he had a girlfriend since 2021. This is why she was still so readily siding with him. And speaking of cheating, this is what would lead us to the section, Sykkuno's girlfriend. The coincidence that would lead me to finding out the truth about Sykkuno happened last week. A popular male VTuber tried to slide into my DMs to presumably get in my pants, and when I rejected him, he immediately started to mention nasty rumors about Bao. Out of concern for her, I reached out to a mod who then connected me with Bao. The three of us struck up a conversation when I mentioned I was nervous about a date I was going on. They asked me who it was. When I said my date was with Sykkuno, they immediately told me not to go on the date for my own personal safety. Bao told me that at the end of March, Sykkuno's girlfriend reached out to her regarding a controversial tweet Bao made last year in 2025. She asked Bao if it was true that the tweet was about Sykkuno. So this tweet in question...
Steven, real quick.
What?
You told Wick he can come on after Collins?
Yeah, sure.
Right?
Why?
Can you make sure, and also chat make sure we remind Destiny to tell Wick to come on whenever that ends up happening?
I'll think about it.
Much love.
Right, if you were Sykkuno's girlfriend reached out to her regarding a controversial tweet Bao made last year.
Wait. Hold on. I'm just so curious. Did she go on the date with Sykkuno?
No.
She
They
didn't.
Twitched on EU. I don't think so. No.
Okay. All right, just making sure.
2025. She asked Bao if it was true that the tweet was about Sykkuno. So this tweet in question, right, if you were on Twitter back in October 2025, you would have probably seen it. It went absolutely viral, and it simply just said, if you're an up-and-coming female content creator with a small but growing audience and a much larger and successful male content creator approaches you out of nowhere and showers you with attention on stream, in DMs, etc., don't walk, run. To 99% of people, this was Bao giving smaller content creators very well-needed advice. In reality, though, this was a subtweet directly referencing Sykkuno's behavior. Because
like, it's just so funny how this is like so specific, but like this is always just like general life advice for anything, right? If somebody comes up to you offering you a ton of shit in exchange for something else and it seems too good to be true, it probably is, right? This is the same thing for in real life spaces, for men or for women. Like this is
was a subtweet directly referencing Sykkuno's behavior. Because the document would continue, they called, as in Bao and Sykkuno's girlfriend, and Bao explained to her that other women had confided in her about similar experiences with him. She described a pattern of behavior where he targeted small female content creators and pressured them into having sex with him. Bao then offered to connect her with these other victims so they could share their experiences with her directly, as she felt it was important to hear them firsthand. This was all discussed during a Discord call. And so here we can see a DM sent by Sykkuno's girlfriend on March 24, 2026 to Bao saying, "Hey Bao, I'm sorry to bother you with this, but I heard something recently that was a bit concerning and I thought I would just come ask you about it. I heard that there was possibly an instance of Sykkuno trying to get VTuber girls up to his hotel room to drink with them, and that the tweet you made about being cautious of large male streamers showering you with gifts and attention was about him, in regards to him doing it to one of your friends?" You know, before we get back to the document, this actually reminds me of this one tweet that was posted on Twitter back in October 21st, 2025 during TwitchCon North America, where an innocent fan came across Sykkuno in the lobby of a hotel at 2 a.m. One can only wonder what he was doing there. But as you can see, rumors are very easy to spread once you spot someone in a hotel lobby at 2 a.m. The document would continue. Bao told me that 3 days before I contacted her and her mod, Sykkuno and his girlfriend were trying to reconcile after Sykkuno somehow managed to convince her that it was all a huge misunderstanding. She had no clue that I, as well as many other girls, still existed in Sykkuno's romantic and sexual life. Bao and her mod would put me in a group chat with Sykkuno's girlfriend where I would share all the screenshots you see above. She was rightfully horrified and left the group chat because she couldn't stomach reading them. This is where we can see DMs in the group chat from Sykkuno's girlfriend saying, "I have lived with him for over 2 years. We have been together since 2021. And on top of that, everything he's planning with you are things we have planned together and talk about and have done. I'm sorry." At this point, I wouldn't be able to imagine what I would feel if I was in Mal's shoes or anyone else's shoes that Sykkuno had taken advantage of. In fact, I mean, I can't imagine being his girlfriend, hearing these rumors about someone I lived with in the same home and finding out about.
Wait, what? Ashley St. Clair wants to talk to you. Should she just join the Discord? Just tell her to DM me on Twitter.
Who is Ashley St. Clair?
It is Yo Mama, one of Elon's exes.
Even after he managed to convince me that him sleeping with someone back in December 2025 was a misunderstanding, it's horrifying. This would all lead us to the final section of this document, titled "To All of Sykkuno's Victims." Ever since Sykkuno's viral breakout during the pandemic lockdowns of 2020 when he played Among Us, he has always carefully curated every aspect of his behavior on stream and with friends. An innocent, romantically inexperienced boy failure who looks like an anime character and sounds like one too. This perfectly curated image would attract a large audience of women, with a lot of them openly professing how attracted they are to him. He soaked in the praise and never sought to limit the most extreme aspects of his community because it made him more desirable. He understood this, and would use this curated image, as well as his legitimacy in the content creation space thanks to his followers and famous friends, to seek out any attractive cosplayers and or content creators that were small enough to be starstruck by his grand presence. It would work most of the time as he'd use the same calculated pattern that he used with me and Elphilia to lure them in, and eventually fly them out.
Calculated pattern, lure in. And the calculated pattern is find girl who posts super sexy pictures on Twitter and follow them, and then wait for them to DM you. Wow.
No, I think it's girl DMs you, you DM them back in this case.
To the next convention or event that
he definitely is definitely a player and a fuckboy and a liar and a cheater, but I mean,
he went to with the goal of hooking up. What these many women didn't know, though, is that he'd always lie about the fact that he's single, that behind the scenes...
Wait, does this guy play any of the call that this girl has with him?
Hello.
Thomas.
Hello.
So,
Well, pretty much know most of it.
yeah, like what?
Does this sound Swedish to you?
No.
Which language is this then?
English?
You motherfucker. What accent?
English? Who sounds
you
Swedish?
Think she's from, you think she's from America?
Yep.
Okay.
We'll see. I can wait more.
Know what?
No, you can tell me.
Shit, this is an e-girl accent, 100%. She's from the internet.
Wasn't very honest.
Oh.
About sing.
About what? You have to speak up a little bit. Your mic is cutting out.
Sorry, always happens. About being single, and I just wanted to tell you how it happened.
Uh-huh. You're still gonna have to speak up a little bit, by the way. You're still cutting out a lot.
Sorry, you know how I talk quietly.
Yeah, but you never talk this quietly.
You know, I talk quietly.
I'm sad.
Oh.
It's the actions of your... Well, it's the consequence of your own actions, I suppose.
Oh, wait, hold on. She might not
There
be.
it is.
Hold on. She's e-girl and hard, but it might be e-girl European accent. We'll see. Hold on.
I know.
Mm,
So basically, I was in a very happy relationship.
doesn't sound like it, but sure.
Oh, fuck. Hold on. Well, anymore. Hold
Let me finish.
Uh-huh,
I
continue.
was in a very happy relationship a long time ago.
Long time ago. What, like
And then-
2021?
Fuck! I was gonna guess Dutch. Fuck you. She is from the Netherlands? Okay. So there are different accents sometimes for different places that could be hard to, like, within the country there could be different ones, at least. Like, I know in Sweden, like, the further north you go, you hear weird stuff. But Dutch people all sound exactly the same. There are no different Dutch accents. Every single person in Amsterdam, every single person in the Netherlands, they all learn the exact same accent. Guaranteed. Every time. Don't know why, but 100% true. Stay mad. Okay? Dutch people in chat, they're mad. 100% though. All of them sound exactly the fucking same. Exactly the fucking same. And once you've heard Rute, the NATO chief guy, speak, you've heard them all.
I don't know the exact time, honestly, but a long time ago. Then it got a lot less happy.
How so?
You hear the guy, right?
fully
The guy that
know.
talks to Trump.
Just
That's
stop.
this person.
Hang out with you that much.
I agree.
Stop hanging out with you. She lives with you.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to speak up. I can't hear a single sentence that comes out of your mouth.
She's just eating.
Is that like cereal? Hell yeah, queen.
You there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, I'm just asking because you went quiet.
Anyway, so I was very, very happy.
Mm-hmm.
And at some point, it wasn't so happy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know exactly when, but like we stopped spending time together. We hadn't done it together for years.
Or what? I couldn't hear that part.
I said we hadn't done anything together for like years,
Mm-hmm.
and I was just very sad and alone. Didn't go want it at all.
Mm-hmm. So you slept with Elfie in Paris.
What? Scandal.
He was sad. Give him a break, man.
He was sad.
And then you flirted with me.
Yeah, he was sad.
And were telling me how you wanted me to come visit you in Vegas, and how you wanted to go on a date, and how you were serious about me, and how you really meant it, and how you wanted to go get a cat together.
Ooh, you can tell she's on her
You
girl
agree she's a
boss.
psycho, right?
She's on her girl boss
Wait,
mode.
Yeah.
It's a Melina chick, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. It's Melina.
Why? Why didn't you
me and
just
Moot
break
said
off?
this was Melina.
I thought it was a Melina accent, yeah.
It definitely is, by the way. It's Melina.
I don't know why
The
you say it's
relationship,
Melina.
then.
I thought it was Swedish, but
Damn.
Because a combination of remembering how it was, some part of me hoping it would go back to that, and
Well, obviously it's not going to go back to that if you're actively cheating on her. It's only going to get worse. I think that's really on you, bud. And I know you're smarter than that.
I'm not.
I mean, for fuck's sake, you're a 34-year-old man. Yes, you are. Stop acting like you're a child.
Don't think that's.
Oh my god, she's getting off this whole combo too. Because remember, also, she knows she's recording it.
She knows
he
she's
doesn't.
recording.
So she's like, oh, this is my audition.
What I'm acting like, but
I mean, you say you're not smarter than that, but you are. You're a 34-year-old man. You just chose to do it. You knew damn well in the back of your head that wasn't going to end up well.
God damn it.
yeah. But it's complicated.
It's really not. Cheating is just bad. She hasn't done anything to ask for it to be cheated on. It's pretty cut and dry.
Yeah, but she relied on me to take care of a lot of things, and I still cared about her.
Okay, that doesn't mean
What was the point of this? Why did you even agree to have this conversation?
that you do that because you wanted to, not because she was like holding it against you or forcing you to.
No.
Exactly.
He wanted
so
to have it.
there's still no excuse for you to cheat on her.
True.
Not saying there was one. Just explaining why it happened.
He's sad.
And
True.
the only reason why it happened is because you just chose to do it.
True.
I don't know why you decided to lie to me, because you know damn fucking well that lying, especially, is like a big thing I do not tolerate.
As opposed to all the people that do tolerate lying.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was fine about the Alfie thing, because I was like, okay, he didn't know me before that, right? But then I find out you've had a girlfriend this entire time. Do you realize how fucked up that is?
Jesus.
Because not only were you... Because, sure, you didn't lead Alfie on. Alfie acknowledges that you didn't lead her on, right? Because I've talked to Alfie. I'm friends with her. I've been friends with her before I even met you.
Okay.
Like, she acknowledges that you didn't lead her on. You led me on, though. You did lead me on, though.
Yeah.
You gave me all these fucking fancy-ass promises about, oh, we're gonna go on a date when you come visit here. What, so you could cheat on your girlfriend again? So you could sleep with me so you could cheat on your girlfriend again?
That wasn't...
What were you intending with that?
Well, I thought it was going to, be over.
But what?
Like, I thought that was gonna be the end of that.
The end of what?
My previous relationship.
You were gonna break up with so you could date me, or what?
Well, like I said, it'd been a long time where, like, we hadn't spent time together. Hadn't done anything in years.
Mm-hmm.
And in my head, I thought that was, at some point, be over.
What? I couldn't hear you.
I said, I thought that meant that was going to be, like, the end of it.
So you were already moving on before you even broke up with her?
Jesus.
Were you intending to break up with her, or were you just waiting for her to break up with you?
Wow.
No, I don't know. It's
So-
just a really weird
I just
mix of, like,
want to understand this. So what was your intention with me? Like, where was I in this whole thing? Like, were you intending to date me after her? Like, were you intending to just ditch me to go date me?
I mean, I guess for me, it felt like it was already...
But that's not what I asked. I'm talking about me.
I mean, yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking.
You were thinking to just ditch her and then date me. What, were you gonna do the same thing to me?
Of course not. Not to you.
I'm sorry, but like, you're not really selling this whole relationship thing really well. If this is the type of
Have you looked
relationship
at
you will
yourself? Of
hold.
course not, lady.
Whoa.
Not trying to sell it.
Problem?
I can tell.
Just trying to explain what's going on.
Yeah. The thing is, if I'd never reached out to Bao, because I didn't even reach out to Bao about you, right? I reached out to Bao about because lied behind my back. to a bunch of people, and I was not okay with that. And then started lying about Bao. That's when I reached out to Bao. I became friends with her roommate, and then I was talking with a little bit back and forth, and then you came up in the topic, and then she told me you had a girlfriend. And that your girlfriend has been venting to Bao this entire time.
What?
About how you gaslight her into staying.
Yeah.
You make her feel bad anytime that she, like, wanted to leave because you cheated on her. And she knew that you cheated on her. She just didn't know who.
Not good.
Because you never told her that it was Elfie. You just told her that you cheated on her in Paris. I think. I don't know if you told her, but I knew she knew.
Yeah, I did tell him.
Why? Why go through all this trouble?
Because didn't know how to
I mean, for God's sake.
For God's
if
sake.
The only thing why you even stayed with her is because she relied on me for a lot of things. You can afford to take care of her for a little bit before she gets back onto her feet. Like, at least don't put her through the trouble of telling her I'm still gonna be with you, telling her that you're still her fucking boyfriend.
Jeez.
While actively cheating on her every single day.
Yeah, I mean you're right. I should have just said how I felt.
You could have just deadass. If the only thing that you were concerned about is the fact that she relied on you for things, you could have just supported her until she got back onto her feet, so she could support herself.
Deadass.
You know.
And it wasn't just that.
Then what else?
Somehow hoping it would go back to how it used to be.
Well, I also already told you, cheating is not going to make it go back to how it used to be.
Not with that attitude.
It's a lot easier to say that.
It's the truth. It's the harsh truth. Nothing is going to go back the same way that it was if you're going to cheat on someone actively.
Yeah.
What's active versus passive?
That's why I'm going to change.
You're going to change what?
That's it. Everything.
Oh, he's done. He's a changed man.
Just gonna change that.
You're gonna stay with her?
You're right.
But honest to God, I feel like the poor girl's been through enough. I don't think you should have to sit there and keep doing this to her. Because I was in a group chat with her while you were on stream.
I'm locked in.
And this girl's absolutely fucking distraught because of the shit that you've done to her.
Wow. Distraught.
The shit that you've put her through. Genuinely. Do you know how much that fucks someone up?
Loker cannully.
You already cheated on her once, and she decided to trust you still. She decided to stay with you, despite the fact that you already had cheated on her and admitted to it. And what do? You go onto fucking Twitter and go find the next girl to fucking flirt with.
Unbelievable.
If anything, honest to God, I'm not even mad at this point. I'm just disappointed. I'm really disappointed.
She hit him up with a disappointed.
Yep, that's fair.
Because she's been crying to Bao about it. Bao's been sitting there, comforting this girl, trying to tell her, hey, maybe you should leave him. Because this isn't okay. This really isn't okay. You're putting this girl through mental strain.
Mental strain.
Every single day. That you continue to be with her. While you're sitting there having fun playing with your fucking friends. Be so honest right now, Thomas.
So you think, and you might be right.
Yeah. If it is money that she doesn't have, or if it's a job, or if it's family, or blah 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 blah.
Gave her a lot.
Yeah, well, there, exactly.
He's like, I
just
paid
help
her
her back
off.
on her feet until she can support herself, and then just leave the girl alone. Because she deserves better than that. Because you cannot sit there and be like, I love her, but do all of this shit to her, and continue to let her stay in that situation.
Well, one part of that wasn't true.
Uh-oh.
What?
I mean, I think the feelings faded.
Well, then you should just let her go. Instead of just sitting her there, wasting her time.
This is so dramatic.
Seriously.
And also,
Jesus.
why'd you get on a call with me when right now she's upset? I know she lives with you.
I already talked to her.
Yeah, you should be
And
there
I told
to.
her I'm going to talk to you first.
You should be there to comfort her. She's the one that you cheated on.
No, I'm going to be doing that. I just wanted to settle this first.
This is not settled. I'm beyond upset with you. Like, genuinely beyond upset with you.
Wow.
I mean, that's fine. By settled, I mean, like,
Oh. He's having the call. Wait, are they? Hold on. I'm sorry. Which one is this? Is this the one he's known for 5 years, but he hasn't?
No.
No, this is when he met. Did he meet this one in person?
No, this is the one I don't believe he's met in person. The one he knew for 5 years is the lady he had sex with in Paris.
Okay, this is the 19-year-old that is on Twitter.
Yes.
They haven't met in person, but they've been like sexting and stuff.
Yes.
Gotcha. Oh, he's trying to jump ship to this girl. I understand. That's why he's having the call with her. Oh,
Hold
because
on.
in the beginning, why are you even talking to this girl? Okay, sorry. All right, okay. Well, no? Okay, hold on.
Like, genuinely beyond upset with you.
I mean, that's fine. By settled, I mean, like, that's it. Like,
What's it?
probably never talking again.
You and me?
Yes.
She already said, because I was trying to figure out why, but when she said I'm beyond upset with you, those are, when somebody says that, that's a good thing, because like, oh, you're really, really mad at me, but like we're still something, we're still doing something, as opposed to like, I hate you, or
It's
I'm not talking to you.
fucking
Yeah,
done.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What? Why?
Is that not why?
What is why? I'm still upset with you, but you didn't cheat on me. You can still talk to me and be like, make up for your actions. Don't get me wrong, because I always am there for second chances. But
Oh my
I
God.
never will forgive you for cheating on her.
There's
That's
still a chance, though.
This is like
That's
the most shameless.
So you're saying?
The most shameless. Jesus.
There are a lot of girls that are upset with you, by the way, because Alfie's not the only one that has hit me up.
Yeah, that sounds like you've heard things.
Yeah, and you lied to me a lot about that too. A lot. Because, how big was the roster again?
I don't think I ever had one of those.
I mean, maybe not at the same time, but you sure do hop around.
Why are they coming back to
Oh, so.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I just realized a thing.
All I care about right now is that he's okay.
Don't mind me.
Keep me updated on that.
I don't know if that's a possibility.
You can keep me updated on how she's doing. You can keep me updated on when she moves out, because I don't think she should be living with you anymore.
Oh, she secured the bag.
I don't think you need me to do that.
I mean, yeah, I care about her. Like,
Yeah, she can do that.
True. I'll just reach out to her then. But, yeah, no, just... Like,
Oh my God.
you go talk to her. She needs you right now.
Queen.
This girl's a queen. Oh my God, she's got him under her. She's got him under her thumb now. She knows all the girls that he's been fucking around with. She's got him paranoid as fuck. She's got all this fucking leverage now. Oh my God, she's talking to his biggest haters. Whoo! When did they have this call? Whatever you're about to say, the only answer is she absolutely would have dated him again, and then something happened to where they couldn't date, and that's when she decided to dock him.
Well, he cut her off. That's why he got docked here, I think. And I think if anything, at the beginning, she's like
him off. Wait, what'd you say?
No, he cut her off.
Oh, yes.
That's why he got docked. But at the beginning, she in this document says like there's a 19-year or a 15-year age gap. If anything, I feel like she's the fucking predator. She's obviously way smarter than Sykkuno, and she was fucking toying him along. Jesus.
Kind of. Wait, what is this? I said that as in I was willing to be his friend if he learned from his mistakes, but when I found out it was a pattern with a lot of girls where he was using the same lies and such, I couldn't stay quiet anymore, thus the doc. Wait, but didn't she literally say to him, there are a lot of girls that are upset with you?
Yes.
Queen. What a queen.
She's just a liar.
She's a queen.
Yeah.
Breast girlfriend that he'd been with since 2021 and who has lived with him since 2024 in the same house. I implore the many other victims to come out about their experiences with this predator. And I end this document with a recording of Sykkuno in which he admits to everything,
predator?
especially with how he cheated on his girlfriend with my friend and was intending to do that with me as well. For context, this was shortly after I had messaged his girlfriend about his cheating. 30 minutes later, he would ask if I was free for a call. As his girlfriend was crying downstairs, he somehow chose to prioritize someone that he barely met 2 months ago. She's referring to herself. I pointed this out during the call. Here's the link. So the link isn't here right now, but obviously it will be by the time this video comes out. It's okay though, because I have the video. And if you're wondering why you should watch it here, well, it's because Sykkuno's voice is so damn low. I mean, the guy was whispering as if someone was after him with a gun. They could barely tell what he's saying.
Oh, fuck.
I actually bothered to add subtitles. This whole recording is 17 minutes long, and as the document stated, he pretty much admits to everything. Watch.
Go back to how
Do all of this shit to her and continue to let right now.
that's
Second chance. It's okay.
okay. Oh, bye.
She moves out because
All pointed in you. Shortly after the call, the last thing Mal would ever say to Sykkuno would be, I'm beyond disappointed in you. So look, according to Mal, there are countless other victims. It is completely up to them on whether they want to come out with their side of the story or not. For now, though, we can confirm at least 2 different people that were completely misled by him.
Is Shao IRL an anti-fan or not? What? I feel like that guy posts so many clips of mine.
That's a Destiny dick sucker.
Whoa! Oh, so if they're nice to me, they're a dick sucker automatically.
Yeah. I love him. I
As
follow
he
Show
cheated on his
IRL.
girlfriend so comfortably. In those 2 instances, we can see him also using the same playbook, the same tactics, sending them money, making them feel special, following their personal Instagram, wanting to meet ASAP, to hook up, everything. And I think one thing that personally struck me was how only 30 minutes after his girlfriend found out about his cheating and probably confronted him, he chose to run upstairs and prioritize Mal, someone he met 2 months ago. All while his girlfriend was crying downstairs, gutted, heartbroken. There's a reason people say with great power comes great responsibility, because once you have this power that Sykkuno possessed, you can so easily take advantage of others. So as a content creator, you have a very clear choice, and unfortunately, Sykkuno decided to be the worst person possible. I wish all the victims in this travesty the absolute best, and I also
I don't know if
encourage
it
them
gets
to
worse than
speak
this.
out. When it
I don't
rains,
know, man.
it pours. And right now, the first drop has hit the ground. Sykkuno and anyone else who seeks to take advantage of their position need to be held accountable. And for anyone who grew up watching him during quarantine, who looked up to him, I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news, ruining
Basically,
whatever
he's a
ideal
rapist.
image
Sorry,
you
guys.
had of him in your head. In any case, if more victims decide to speak out, then I will most likely stream
What the fuck?
me reading
He
all
said
of
there was
them
countless
on my
other
channel
victims.
later
Well,
on.
but they haven't
For the time
spoken
being,
out yet,
though,
bro.
Please, if a larger
So they
content
haven't
creator
been
reaches
counted.
out to you,
Got it.
even if you don't make content, please always be extremely skeptical and know that they probably
So
don't
this is
see
why
you
you
as the
played
most
Among
special
Us.
person in the world. They've probably done this to many others already. Thank you so much for watching until the end. I really, really appreciate it. If you want a healthy alternative to an energy drink, then definitely use the code MUJIN at GamerSubs for 10% off. And if you want
Thank
exclusive
you.
content like high quality art and exclusive yapping videos, then definitely check out stacked.com. It's like Patreon, but better. I love you so much. Platonically. Come on, platonically. I'm not going to be like
Epic,
Sykkuno.
epic,
I'll see you in the next video
epic.
whenever
We got
that
it, we
is.
got it.
Mwah.
There you go. Mwah.
Gee, what the fuck?
What?
Look at the fucking screen. Thomas the Predator engine.
I didn't see those captions. Not the Predator engine. Well,
welcome to the Champions Club, Sykkuno.
I'll go grab a Red Bull. We'll do some wonderful call-ins.
The final Israel-Palestine call-ins.
Where is TTS?
What? They have to be implemented in the back end and everything. Jesus
day,
Christ!
Man. It's been one
sorry.
Never mind.
So
Dan,
I'm
you
the
need to
only one
shave.
who does
You
shit
need to
the same
shave.
day.
You need to shave, Dan. Shave the things. That's not a. That's a.
It's not a mohawk.
You know, fuck
That's a
you
faux
guys.
hawk.
If I had put the
Faux
hair
hawk.
back, I would.
Faux
I'm the only
hawk.
one who fucking did anything. By the
Faux
way,
hawk.
ask me how much fucking beforehand knowledge I have over this DGG
Are you
digital
okay?
ground game shit.
Are you
Yeah,
okay?
Ask me.
Are you
ask me
stumbling
how,
right now?
He misspoke.
He did.
You missed a whole fucking segment yesterday that you were scheduled for.
Hey.
I don't want to hear it out of you.
Ask me how many people were in communication about me.
How many?
With this thing.
About
Zero.
me?
The first I heard about it was a day beforehand. And I was scheduled for shit. I was on fucking posters. I should be suing you for copyright infringement.
Fucking Cavaliers, man.
Back home from South Africa. We'll be live around 3 p.m. PT to talk about everything. Wow.
Jesus fucking Christ, man. I mean,
what? Oh, so you're pro-apartheid. You're actually pro-apartheid.
I'm pro Sykkuno right now is what I'm going to say. We need to get him in here.
Oh, wait, no. And Steve. Here, this will make you feel better. That was a... There you go. That's a good response to that tweet. Don't forget the likes.
Okay. Why do people link me stuff I've already retweeted? Oh, wait, real fast. I need to get the Queen's take on this.
Oh, Pokey? Duh.
How it sounds to feel disappointed but no longer surprised.
I don't know.
We need like what's a male equivalent of this? It's got to be like out playing.
Maybe Train was right about
pickleball or tennis or something, and like having the caption where you're just. What?
Moot. I'm just imagining me and Moot making videos like this day of the initial court docs.
True. True.
How's it feel when your homie gets court docs? It's like
unbelievable.
Classic.
And you're just programming, talking to your AI. Okay, drag him in.
All right, you ready? All right, if you're not asking or having a discussion on Israel-Palestine, you're immediately gone. Shrimple as.
Ban him. Permaban from everything.
Christy, Israel-Palestine, what do you got?
So it's only going to be about Israel-Palestine, right?
That's right.
All right. I'm going to just straight up say something that's like in the email. So about Israel and Palestine. So I genuinely believe that Israel and Palestine, all of the parties involved in the conflict, I genuinely believe that there is no way for peace among them. And that's because, well, how should I say this? If you were to look at the way that they approach, like what they want, each one of them. One thing that I've been able to observe is that every single one of them is fascistic in some way in their approach. Like for
every
example,
single one of them is what?
Fascistic, as not exactly. It's
Wait,
close.
every single one of them is autistic?
No, not autistic, fascistic.
Fascistic. Okay, you're.
Oh, okay.
Okay, this mic is trolling me, but that's okay.
You're talking through a tin can right now.
Yeah, it's all good.
Man, it kind of sucks. It is what it is.
It is what it is.
I'm
Don't
just going
worry.
to talk. I'm going to talk.
You're good. It's all good. It's life. That's life.
I mean, my point is that they're fascistic because, and here's my claim, the Zionist movement and from the river to the sea, the way that I see them is they are both irredentistic. Are you aware with that term, Destiny?
Nope.
Irredentism is a classic fascism hallmark, and that is recapturing or completing a empire from the past. Like, for example, in Benito Mussolini's case, he would always talk about like Imperium Romani, whatever. Like he was talking about like the Roman Empire and like his goals of recapturing that. And the one thing that I've been able to observe in like Israel's Zionism and the way that they approach with like everything that they did in the British Mandate of Palestine, or like Palestine, whatever, you know what I'm getting at. The way that they approach it is that they want to gain a superiority, like some sort of like tribal superiority that you can observe in like classical fascism, and so it's that's why it's kind of awkward, because in order for there to be any peace in Palestine, you would have to get both the Palestinians, because they are also complicit in this. They are also irredentistic, in particular with the claim from the river to the sea. That is also an irredentistic claim, which is, it's not from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. That's like what the leftists are trying to like push for. But if you want to take the more classical approach, that used to be from the river to the sea, Israel will be either Arabic or Islamic, depending on if you want to go for like the nationalist or like the religious fascism approach. And that's why you will never see any sort of like peace come through in that region until both of these parties involved, like they both have to do it. Because if only Israel drops its ambitions to gain like to like essentially fulfill the kingdom of Israel as they so desire with their Zionism, if they drop that, the Hamas or like the Palestinians would do everything in their power to like conquer Israel and try to bring it back to what it used to be at a certain point in the past.
So what is your question or prescription here?
I only foresee two possible solutions, and I want some perspective, and I want you to like, I don't know, give your opinion on what I have to say on this. So the only way that you can achieve any sort of like long-lasting peace in the Middle East, it would have to be by incentivizing both of the Israelis and the Palestinians to drop their fascistic approach and like gaining control over that area, whether it's from like an ideological selfishness or like from a economical one, like whether they want every single person in Palestine to be of Jewish religion or like of Islamic or of like Islamic religion. You would have to like make or a path forward where they both drop their desire for like I don't know, I guess tribal domination. So the only other solution that I would have for this, it would be if it would be kind of like a third party to go in there physically, like boots on the ground, and ensure that it's like incentivize this sort of like so that they can de-incentivize their fascistic desire. What do you think about this particular approach?
Go ahead, Steven.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, yeah, but I mean, we're kind of, that's like the question, right? How do you make both sides stop fighting with each other? If we could go in and get it so both sides don't want to fight with each other anymore, then the fighting would stop. Yeah, I agree with that.
Well, you would have to take a look at like how it was done for Nazi Germany. Like that would have to be the approach taken. Maybe not as hard as because like Dresden bombing and all the.
Well, sure, but I mean, like that's the easy one because Germany was like our opponent in World War II, so we defeated Germany and we made them acquiesce to our terms. But in Israel-Palestine, there's a huge disagreement around the world over who's in the right, so it makes it a lot more difficult to figure out what the solution should be to that, right?
Yeah, that's kind of what makes it a bit harder to do, but there's no other foreseeable solution to the conflict in Israel-Palestine because both of these they are two tribes. It's the tribes of the Jews that want like the return of Zion, the king of Zion, as like how it used to be like I don't know 2,000, 3,000 years ago, or like whatever the fuck. And then there's the Palestinians, and in particular the Hamas approach of the Palestinians, not so much the Palestinians themselves, because I don't think that they genuinely want what Hamas wants, but what Hamas wants is essentially like how it used to be during the time of the Ottoman Empire. So like that's usually where the conflict stems from. And so you would have to think about a strategic way to justify a presence to make them like stop fighting each other and then be proactive to like disincentivize those types of desires to like rear their heads again. Now the question would be then what would be the best approach? I mean, there's like psychotic approaches like trying to like make a false flag in the United States by like an Israel group and like blaming it on Israel and say, okay, fuck it, we go all in and like stabilize that region for good, and that would be a way to do it. But I don't think that's like the best approach to this. You would have to think about like a better strategy. That's how I see it. Would you agree or disagree?
Yeah, I mean, I guess, but again, the question is just like, what is that approach, right? That's like the whole, yeah, obviously, if we could find a way to approach it to get both sides to chill or to come to some common ground or to agree on some solution. But the question is how to do that, right?
Well, yes, but the first step should be to recognize that both of these parties, like they both have this fascistic approach to like territorial claims and like, I don't know, they genuinely want that the entire region to be Islamic because, like, as I said, like the
but fascistic in this this point is going to be a perspective. The Palestinians will tell you that their history is just true, and then the Israelis will tell you that their history is just true. So from their perspective, the other side they would agree is fascistic, but it wouldn't be them.
Yeah, that's part of the problem. It's a bit of a complicated task. Like approach it, but there's multiple people that like, I don't know, there's also part of the problem that multiple people do not see the way that like the from the river to the sea is also fascistic, just as fascistic as and when I say fascistic, I'm more like how they behave, not so much as in like traditional fascism, although there are some similarities. I mean with how they behave, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. I'm just saying that the perspective here is, I feel like this is just a perspective question. Like, if you agree that your history is genuinely correct,
well, you would have to make it so that they meet in the middle. Like that's.
Yeah, I agree, but that's like the question. That's like the question, right? How do you do that?
Yeah, and like I said, there's like multiple. I mean, I haven't really thought about like a best solution for this. I mean, it's usually something that like teams of people would have to like think about a solution for this, but the problem is most people do not even see it as such. Like people just go on Twitter and say, "Oh, Israel is just in the wrong," and then they get up in their feelings, and particularly the leftist ones, and then there's also people that are like, "But wait, hang on a second. If Israel relinquishes their militaristic because like." If the Palestinians would have had the military and like the capabilities of like the
These
Israelis,
are your final words because you got kicked.
Okay, sorry. All right, sorry.
Yeah, you're good.
So,
right. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, yeah, just think about maybe this general idea. Like, that's usually what I would think about first. Like, how would you get both of them to the table? Because that's no other way around.
Gotcha. All right. Okay, but I'm
right. Thank you, Christy.
All right, thank you.
Oh. I mean, it's Shrimple. You just got to find a solution for him. All right, Hussein. Somehow you got up here. Go ahead.
Oh, well, Bing dragged me up here because he thought my question was good, Militant. Okay, I guess my main claim was that Israel's actions in the Rafah offensive after May 6th of 2024 disqualifies it from being a liberal democracy in the same sense as Western liberal democracies. And this is mainly because this is basically based off the writings of Hugo Grotius and his writings on the rules of war. So would you agree or disagree with that, Mr. Destiny?
I'd probably disagree, but I guess I would have to know more specifically, I guess, what we're talking about. Or what are the actions,
Okay,
I guess, that we feel were, I guess, disqualifying.
Yeah, I guess specifically the one thing I did highlight was there was a raid on February 12th and a series of airstrikes which freed 2 Israeli hostages, and it resulted in the deaths of around 70 Palestinians. And I think Associated Press had reporting that it says around 70% of those people who were killed amongst those 70 Palestinians were civilians. And I think that's just one example in the sense, in like the broader case I'm making, in that like Israel does not operate militarily the same way as other Western liberal democracies do. They don't put as much deference on human life. But this is not an argument saying that the like people like Islamists like Hamas or Iran or Hezbollah do the same. I think my main point is that Israel is much more like they fit in the region more than a lot of like people would like to think.
I mean, I think I would partially agree with that. I guess if I'm remembering this raid correctly, I would have to I would have to. I don't know if I would say I would agree to disagree, but I would have to read more back into like what actually happened. But like this is the one where there was a bunch of video footage released of them doing this raid, right? Like they're inside the building and they see the people talking and they go through and like I would have to see the how they came to that conclusion of 70% of the people killed were civilians. I'd be very curious about that. Because one of the annoying things about this raid... Wait, hold on. One of the annoying things about this raid was that one of the things that people kept claiming over and over again was that Israel shouldn't bomb anything and they should just do special forces, special forces, special forces. And this was like a special forces raid to try to retrieve some civilians, or I'm sorry, some hostages, but they met like really, really heavy resistance on, I think while they were doing this rescue mission. And then, there were definitely people killed. I'm curious what the 70% civilian number, though, where that came out from.
Okay, just to be totally honest and upfront, you should take that with a small grain of salt. It was repeated by Associated Press, but it was originally reported by the Gaza Ministry of Health.
Sure.
So it could possibly be inflated.
Sure, which doesn't necessarily make it invalid. I'm just saying I would be curious. I would have to see the how they came to that conclusion that 70% of the people were were civilians, I guess.
I mean, yeah, but that's just one specific like example in the broader claim that Israel does not operate in the same way most Western liberal democracies operate. Like when you if you look at Iraq,
I'm curious what we mean when we say when we say like Western liberal democracies. That seems like to get rid of like a Western liberal democracy. Like this is a very broad term that encompasses like a whole bunch of different aspects of a government.
Yes.
Like I don't know if I would say that like a thing like this, like would Abu Ghraib disqualify the United States from being like a Western liberal democracy? Like I don't think so, but Abu Ghraib was a terrible atrocity with documented video evidence and everything. Yeah, like we're good.
But there's a difference in the amount of scale in which these things occur. Like, correct me if I'm wrong, but Abu Ghraib was maybe the tens of thousands. How many? Upwards tens of thousands, 100,000 Palestinians are in prison almost, you know?
I don't think there are 100,000 Palestinians in prison. So Abu Ghraib was there was it was a U.S. prison that was in Iraq, I believe, right? Where they were torturing and abusing prisoners in ways that was beyond, like, not just like advanced interrogation, but I think they were like sexually humiliating people and people were taking pictures like with these prisoners that they were torturing and humiliating. It was not good stuff.
But again, another thing I would say is that a lot of these people they were court-martialed, they faced criminal prosecution for many of these actions. I don't think that what happened with specifically the Israeli soldiers who sodomized the Palestinian prisoners, were they prosecuted? I generally
also, hold on, we got to be careful. I'm just saying we got to be really careful from going from story to story, because there are so many of these stories that end up, in my opinion, just being total bullshit. And for Israel, there's so many of them. So like, just on that special forces raid or whatever, I don't know if I ever saw any compelling evidence or reason to believe that there were like crazy war crimes or anything going on in the course of this raid. In terms of like were people killed that were civilians, I'm sure that is possible, but like I can't think of any. I don't know if there's any evidence or anything that came out of like indiscriminate fire on civilians or anything else. Like these people were. Also, the hostages were kept in 2 civilian homes, so I would just be curious to see who got killed there, or what like the actual specific allegations are. And there are so many of these. I know you said that's just one example, but there are so many examples of these. Like that whole flower massacre thing. I don't believe that Israel was fake dropping food just to kill 100 Palestinians because they were bored. I don't buy these things.
Well, yeah.
So I'm sure.
That's
when
kind of why
we could look into more of the Palestinian rape thing. I guess I haven't heard as much about that. I just haven't dug into it because like a year and a half ago I just stopped digging into the individual stories because it was a waste of time for so many of these. But like even if I were to grant that that some of these stories are true and that these are really bad things, I don't know if I would say it's like this is just completely disqualifying them as a Western style liberal democracy. Like there would be so many other factors that would go into that, I think.
I guess the specific thing, I tried to mention this earlier, the specific thing I would try to pinpoint in which they don't operate in the same way as an aspect of a liberal democracy is like Hugo Grotius was he was a liberal theorist during the Protestant Reformation in the 30 Years' War, and he talked a lot about the fact that if you are a state, you should put heavy deference and heavy limitations on military operations that might result in the harm of civilians, and through that, his writings is basically what we build most of the rules of engagement on international law off of. So I think, and I'm pretty sure that my main claim is that Israel acts in a way that they do not put enough deference and care in reducing the amount of civilian casualties, that it kind of goes against a lot of Grotius's writings, who's a pivotal liberal theorist.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we would just have to. I mean, like that's kind of the question, huh?
Yeah.
Do we feel like there is a better, more responsible way that Israel could conduct itself militarily in the Gaza Strip? I'm not sure if I've ever seen or heard any compelling answers related to that, because every single time this topic is brought up, the vibe that I get is generally just that people feel like the only answer is Israel should just not do anything, like overwhelmingly. I don't think I've ever heard a single serious suggestion given for what would be like the moral way for Israel to respond to anything that's ever been done to them, other than they just shouldn't do it ever. I think a really good example of that
but
was...
But that's like the lefty, like retard kind of argument. That's not necessarily the argument I'm making.
Well, sure, but even if we were to look for a more specific argument for like how, like what they should have done different militarily, like I guess what are answers, or like what is like, I guess like what's an alternate approach that they could have taken for the Gaza Strip stuff, at least like in the first year?
Are you asking me? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I think the over reliance on conscripts and like the lack and they have a very loose rules of engagement. I've read this one Associated Press article. I think just because they're like the entire IDF is like a conscript military, I'm not saying there's not like well-trained people within the IDF. I'm just saying that if they simply put more emphasis and funds on training a lot of their ground forces instead of this over-reliance on a lot of the air power and airstrikes, which at times have been inaccurate and led to a lot of civilian casualties, I think we could have saw much better outcomes in the Gaza Strip.
I mean, I haven't heard that argument before. Maybe it's possible, I guess. I don't know if I guess I would have to think about that. I'm not sure.
I'm not saying send in special forces. I'm saying
no, I understand. I'm trying to think of like, because what I'm trying to think of is that I guess like when I look at the strikes, when I look at the civilian deaths and everything, and I'm comparing it to like other conflicts, I'm not really getting the idea that this is like it's not like outside the norm so much in terms of what you would expect for civilian casualties, like if anything, and it's hard to compare it to anything else because nothing is quite as dense as Gaza, as all the leftists like to remind us all the time. But it doesn't really seem like. Here's what I'll say: if nobody knew the numbers for how many people died in Gaza, and I were to give you the talking points about how Israel is indiscriminately bombing and killing people here without regard for civilian life, and then I were to ask somebody to estimate the amount of civilian death versus Hamas death, I don't think the numbers will look like anything like they actually do. I think people would assume 300,000, 400,000, 500,000 people were killed with maybe like 10,000 Hamas fighters dying. I think that would be the assumption. And I don't think the numbers just don't seem to match that at all.
I see where you're coming from, but I also want to pivot a little bit to another point you previously made. I remember, you can say if this is accurate retelling of your opinion or not, but I think you did say once that specifically after Rafa, after a lot of the accusations of like war crimes, after Rafa, you kept seeing the IDF going into ground operation Gaza without a clear end in sight, and it didn't seem like they were making any considerable gains in dismantling or destroying Hamas. So I just want to kind of talk about that a little bit and highlight that. Like, do you still hold that position? Is that an accurate retelling of your?
Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know why it went on for so long after that. I was never aware of, and I never heard any answers for why that was the case. Why the conflict lasted so long after.
Was your final question?
But then I also don't know.
Okay,
I guess I feel like the positions on everything are just like so extreme. So like there are so many statements you could make, I think, that are easily defensible. That the military action was excessive, was unnecessary, was maybe more pointed towards a goal of like population harassment or whatever versus like actual military ends. Like I think there are statements here that are pretty defensible. But when the statement is like, because of these statements, they're no longer a liberal democracy, it's like, that just feels like a really extreme, especially given all the other conduct of liberal nations and wars in the past. It just seems like a really, really, really extreme. Like, was the United States not a liberal democracy during Vietnam when we were also drafting soldiers, which is arguably worse than how the IDF works? So, I mean.
Yeah. I guess, okay. I would have to think more about that last point you made. Like, for my final question, is there anything that you see in the recent recent months, I would say, with Israel kind of colluding with Trump and Orban? Do you think that would push them outside the realm of a liberal democracy? Would you concede to that?
Not really, no. But this is like a really far off, like outside of a liberal. Like you can be a really horrible liberal democracy, right? But like as long as you have relatively like when Bet Salem like exists in Israel, it's hard to say that like that's no longer a liberal democracy. Or when 2 million Arabs live in Israel proper, yeah.
So I guess unless something drastic changes, you wouldn't really.
I guess, but it's just such a far out. There are so many good and strong criticisms that you could make way before you even get to that point. That I don't know. There's just like a really extreme position to take, I guess. Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for having me. Thanks, Muton. Thanks, Dan. Thanks, Destiny.
Goodbye.
Yeah, have a careful.
Bye-bye.
Jeffrey Skywalker.
Seriously? I love Star Wars. Oh, guess not.
GTI guy.
Hey, welcome. Thanks for having me back, guys.
Jesus, what do I have like 3 fans?
Well, hey. I'm going through the payers first.
Okay.
And these are all the tier 3s.
Uh-oh, chat's already hating on me. I'll make this quick. I see a lot of people recently just in random stuff online or in the news talking about that Netanyahu himself is like one of the biggest barriers to progress. And I just want Destiny's temperature on that.
I mean a little bit, but I mean Netanyahu is there for a reason, and it's because the Israeli population still kind of like is broadly supportive of that coalition, and Netanyahu is good at keeping that coalition of people together. So it's like saying Trump is a big barrier to progress in the United States. Like it's kind of true, but I mean America voted for him, unfortunately.
The big Yahoo.
Yes. Could you expand a little bit more on like how he's keeping it like together recently, aside from just, I guess, attacking Iran would be the big thing, but it also seems like some of his population's getting a little exhausted, or maybe I'm.
What do you mean exhausted?
I don't know, not seeing the whole thing. Exhausted, like of war, of like conflict, of like feeling, I guess, under fire, or like.
I don't know. Are they? I'm not really sure right now. Do they feel exhausted? Or I feel like Israel, especially. I think there was a time when they were like right before the Hezbollah attacks, but then after they got Hezbollah. After Assad fled, after Nasrallah died, after these Iran attacks, I don't know. I feel like if you're like a pro-war Israeli person, I feel like you're sitting pretty good right now.
Might be true, but I guess how many of them like still would remain pro-war after seeing like how the conflict has been kind of on the downturn the last couple of weeks? or like how the
What do you mean? The
I
last
guess, like,
couple
they're-
weeks, the Ayatollah's dead. This is like the #1 fucking keynote thing of your Israel. It's like your dream.
I guess that's fair. Yeah. Yeah, Rip Bozo. I guess yeah. So you don't think there's any downtrend at all? Maybe I'm just reading the wrong shit. You think people are pretty happy there? Like
That would be my
coalition
assumption
is
would
gonna
be
keep-
that they're like that they feel like they're sitting pretty good right now. That would be my assumption. I could be wrong on that though. I don't follow like local Israeli politics, but you've got like a U.S. president that is sycophantically on your side for everything, and then you've got all of your enemies are constantly just taking the fattest fucking L's ever. So I mean, I don't know why. If you're Israeli, yeah, I feel like you'd be sitting pretty good right now. That'd be my feeling.
Their stock market's at an all-time high.
Shit, is it really? What's the Israeli exchange?
I don't know what it's called actually.
I don't know off the top of my head.
People are saying Bennett is getting stronger in the polls right now. Netanyahu is bleeding. Okay. Yeah, maybe the leadership change will come soon, but I mean, I feel like, yeah, if you were like a big pro-war Israeli, I feel like you've gotten almost everything you've wanted over this conflict.
What is the other leader like compared to like a Democrat in the United States?
There's like a cult there. Israel has like so many political parties. It's crazy. They've got so many. So it's just like coalitions of.
That's what I was reading. Is that they have, they have a lot of like fairly close to the center, kind of center left, center right people that are, I guess, vying for power, and their coalition's fairly fractured. Because I think Netanyahu himself only has his coalition of like 2 or 3 different parties is like just over half of the Knesset right now.
Is that true? That Netanyahu's coalition is only 2 or 3 parties?
I think it's only like maybe it's a little more than 2 or 3, but I don't think it's like
it's 5. It's 5 parties.
5. Okay.
So the Likud is the party he's a part of. That's 32 seats right now, and then there's 11 seats with the Shas, 7 with the Religious Zionist Party, 6 with Otzma Yehudit, and 4 New Hope seats.
And I forget which
so
one,
funny?
but
What's so funny?
Wars seats.
Really, really.
One of them is I think also vying for protection from like I guess the Israeli version of the draft, and that's like I guess a hot topic. And
well, they had it was I forget what the name of them are. That whatever their more religious people are, they for the longest of times were excluded from having to be drafted, were excluded from conscription. And I think that changed a year ago, where Israel finally made it so no, you motherfuckers have to sign up for the IDF as well. The Orthodox, yeah. I think that changed though, right? Somebody can tell me if I'm wrong on that.
I don't know if it officially changed, but I think that was one of the things I was reading about. But okay, cool. Well, I appreciate it as always.
Yeah, be careful.
Bye.
Bye.
I got a question.
What?
The filibuster.
Mm-hmm.
I think getting rid of it would actually be good, and people might soy out on this because not that hard of a take. But do you think it would make Republicans/Democrats have to vote their minds more versus just
on party lines all the time?
Being able to hide behind party lines? Yeah,
maybe. It's hard to say.
Okay.
The problem is that like, I actually think I kind of sort of agree with. Wait. Okay. Just make sure Josiah's not here. I kind of agree with the filibuster. I actually think it's an okay thing to have, like conceptually. Like ideally, you would want a little bit more consensus in the Senate before you start passing like huge pieces of legislation. I don't think that's the worst thing in the world. But the only issue is that the Republican Party is just so fractured on everything, and or not fractured, but I should say so polarized against fucking everything that it is impossible to do anything right now in Congress. Like you have a Republican Congress, like to repeat the arguments I give over and over again about how irritated I get when people are like, oh, we need new laws to prevent these things from happening, everything else. Like the laws to stop Trump are all in place right now. The Republican side of Congress has decided that they have abdicated all responsibility to their job. They do not want to do anything. They don't work anymore. So I mean, like, what do you do at that point?
I just think it'd be nice to have like, I don't know, maybe play a little bit more politics in like the way of like, if there's a bill that
like what Biden
you
was
don't want
doing.
to pass. He
was good at talking to individual senators. Like what should happen in an ideal world, and I understand there's going to be some politicking involved, but in an ideal world, what would happen is a new bill is up called the Corn Farmer Subsidy Bill. You look at your district, or if you're a senator, you look at your state, and you decide, will this bill benefit my state or not? And then you make decisions based on there. If you think it will, and you want to vote for it, if the other party brought it up, then you go to your whip, you go to your majority leader, your minority leader in the Senate, you tell him, listen, I think I need to vote for this bill. I know I'm going to break step with you guys, but like here are some concessions maybe that you or I could ask for this bill. Like this is how it should go. But now it's like a straight like RD, like that's a Democrat bill, I don't vote for it, or that's a Republican bill, I'm going to tell you about that, and that's it.
But it would be also nice because then like that Republican senator, for example, or the Democratic senator can like get some face with their audience of like, hey, look, I can go across the aisle. I can actually vote on XYZ if it's going to benefit us. I don't see,
which is what they do,
really,
but like the most cancerous, perverted way that this plays out is like there were people. I wish I could remember the specific example of this. It might have been over the infrastructure bill where there were politicians that were fighting tooth and nail and then bragging about the accomplishments of like the Biden infrastructure bill.
But they didn't vote for it.
They voted against it. Yes.
And
it's like
evil. It's crazy.
So it's like, what the fuck are we doing here? Is retarded.
I think they were doing that with a lot of the infrastructure or the transportation bill too. They were like, oh, look, we're bringing the fucking trains back, XYZ. And they voted against it. It's fucking stupid. All right, I'll bring up next. Yeah. Devin, go ahead.
Hey, sorry, meeting stream. So my question and claim would relate more to Israel being a major U.S. ally, so like one of the allies codified in law that's a non-NATO major ally. Do you think that they should have that designation, or do you think that like maybe we should distance more with them?
I think it's a good designation to have, but we should like. The problem is that, especially under Trump, is Trump acts like we have no leverage. Like if we're designating somebody like this, we should have a great deal of say over how we can dictate their behavior to be. But we're pretending right now, or at least Trump is pretending, or he's just weak, that we don't have any say over their behavior. So I think designating them like that is fine. The Middle East is an important region. Israel is a strong ally for that region. However, if we're going to designate somebody like that, like along with all the privileges that come with being a strong U.S. partner, there should also be like the ability for us to place big restrictions on bad behavior, which it seems like we don't do right now.
Yeah, I think I agree with that then. Do you like my issue though is we never do seem to.
We definitely have under past presidents. Like you can look at this Iran war, for instance, how Netanyahu has been begging the U.S. for so long to engage in this conflict, and most U.S. leaders before Trump have said no, we're not doing that. Or you can look at like again the JCPOA from Obama. Israelis hated Obama for that. That was like the biggest stab in the back. These motherfuckers hated the fact that the U.S. signed that with Iran. But I mean, like Israel's our partner, so you know, chill out, sit down, and that's how it should go to some extent. But yeah,
I guess in my mind, it just doesn't really feel like we're partners. It kind of seems like they're a like Qatar tier ally that maybe does a little bit of intelligence sharing, but like the main reasons that I usually get told, and you can tell me if you agree or disagree, that we're allies with Israel is sort of like there's the intelligence aspect, there's the military technology aspect, right? Because they develop a lot of military technology that we use and we share with each other and we learn from each other. But it feels like we don't actually share that much military technology with them.
I don't know about military technology. I mean, the nice thing about being friends with Israel is they're the strongest military in the region. So we have like big ups there if we want to fight with anybody else, or in terms of like region control. They are they're the strongest guys there. So when it comes to dealing with what used to be that axis of like Syria, Iraq, and Iran, and keeping like Saudi Arabia and the Gulf states safe, like Israel, I think is a pretty big bulwark there. But without Israel as our partner, I mean, I think they could basically just dictate where they want that region to go completely without us. Intelligence is nice as well, but
do you really feel like they could just change and sculpt the whole region? I mean, like we don't have any really major bases in Israel. Like usually what we have in Israel are air defense artillery systems, which we send out whenever Israel's about to get attacked to help defend.
I'm not talking about our military. I'm saying Israel's military can do.
But do you not feel like even if we like restrained our relations a little bit, that we would still be able to control the region a bit more, like just purely due to our presence? I mean, that's kind of why we have bases in these regions, like in Saudi Arabia and the Gulf states and in Kuwait.
I mean, we have bases for power projection and to keep like insanely crazy shit from happening, but we don't really control proxies with our bases, forward operating bases like that as much. I guess, like, what is your question?
Like,
I don't know. It just feels crazy to me that Israel, which I feel like is not a very good ally of ours, is codified in law to be a major non-NATO ally.
if we were to, I mean, like, if we were to completely sever ties with Israel, would we expect?
I'm not advocating for that.
Or what? I guess, or what are we advocating for?
I just think it's crazy that like Israel is pretty belligerent to us in a lot of ways that I think most people don't know about. Like, for example, they sold us the Iron Dome system to the U.S. military, to one of my sister units when I was in the military. And after the acquisition, we asked them for the software to run them, and they just said that it wasn't part of the deal. So we have like, I think it's like 6 Iron Dome systems that we can't use because we don't even have the software for it because they weren't wanting to give it to us as part of the deal, if that makes sense.
Wait, what did you work at in the military?
Israel, I was in an air defense artillery unit.
Okay, that seems. I feel like there's way more to that story. That would be mega sus, especially because my understanding is the software side of stuff is almost as important, or if not more important, or like equally important to the hardware these days. I don't know how you could buy a system like that and not have. I feel like there's got to be way more to that story.
I mean, that's what was relayed to me, right? Because we were planning on buying more and rolling them out to more units, and then eventually we didn't. We shifted away from using Iron Dome systems because we weren't really able to. Because that was part of the our like 2030 modernization program in order to combat drones. Was we were trying to incorporate the Iron Dome systems into our air defense capabilities more.
I feel like I really have no idea. I can't answer. That sounds to me like some shit I would say if I fucked up as a manager and I'm trying to explain to my soups or my frontline employees why we don't have a thing. It's because I fucked an order up or something. But I don't know. I can't speak to it. I mean, like, I guess back to, I know you say you're just asking, but like, what would our, or I guess what is the prescription, or what do you think we should do differently, I guess, with their approach?
I mean, well, I think we probably have the same prescription, but it's like, well, we have mostly the same. The U.S. needs to take a lot firmer of a stance on a lot of things. I feel like our conditional aid in terms of like arms and what we give them to purchase arms from us. Like, I feel like that needs to be enforced a lot more strictly when we're giving demands and then they're not complying. What was like because didn't Biden have a big red line in Gaza where he was like, you can't go past this area?
I keep hearing this red line thing. Can somebody explain to me what the red line is? Somebody brought this up the other day that there was like a red line where we can't go to Rafah. My understanding was that Biden said you can't go to Rafah where every single like refugee is currently residing at. So they had to pause that invasion into Rafah for a week or two to evacuate. It was about 1 million people from Rafah up north before they began. But now I've heard people say that was a red line that they were never supposed to go into Rafah. Is there like a link on this, or what were the actual statements here? Because I feel like that was my recollection, was that you can't just push in here when there are all these civilians and then they waited for the civilians to evac and then they pushed after.
I don't have anything on hand. That was my recollection of the situation. Was I feel like they were just told that their offensive wasn't allowed to advance any further than that, because I think there were like logistical issues with getting the civilians out of Rafah into other places because of how small the Gaza.
Yeah, I think they had like no plan. They were just like, we're just gonna fucking bomb it and see what happens. And then I'm pretty sure the U.S. was like, you're not gonna do that because there's gonna be like 1 million fucking civilian deaths, and this is.
Right, but didn't they end up doing that anyways?
No, they evacuated all of the. Like, I'm pretty sure if I look for evacuation, Rafah, civilians.